A cold mechanical voice welcomes me to the plane survival game, telling me I will live or die on a battlefield of blood and fire, driving my own vehicle through every terrifying night to walk the King's Road. I wake on grass with no idea how I got here, desk and classmates gone, replaced by endless wilderness under a high sun. Before I finish staring around, I spot a thing shuffling nearby, rotting skin and twisted limbs, growling like a beast, and my brain stalls on the word zombie just as a light screen blooms and lays out the rules. The plane survival guide tells me everyone gets a random vehicle and a random talent, that berserk monsters flood the plains at night and I should hide inside my vehicle, that the vehicle is unique and once destroyed I am at others' mercy, that players cannot rob each other, that almost everything can be upgraded with resources, that 6 in the afternoon is the day-night boundary, that the first round of survival is 7 days with monsters strengthening daily until a terrifying horde descends at the end, and that this is a real world where death is permanent. My heart sinks as I realize I have transmigrated into a survival game, and that I am not alone. In the screen corner I find tabs for regional chat, personal info, exchange, and inventory. Regional population reads 99,983 of 100,000, and already slipping, the wall of messages a long panic of players bragging about awakening systems, screaming about zombies, begging to know what the beginner's two-piece set is because someone is in nothing but underwear. Others snapping at them to read the guide because all of this is real. Almost 20 are already eliminated and a new prompt announces that vehicles are being drawn. According to the guide, the vehicle is the line between living and dying. I tense up, the draw resolves before I can settle, and the system congratulates me on a dilapidated van. An old rust-eaten van with peeling paint, dented doors, oil-stained chassis, and flat tires appears on the grass, and I climb in and gag on the musty stench, deflated seats, dust-caked dashboard, no air conditioner, no radio, just complete scrap. The panel reads my van out as Tier 1, max speed 60 kilometers per hour, durability 15% and bleeding, 1 unit of fuel for 300 kilometers, 0 upgraded parts at level 0, advancement requirement 50 gold, 30 parts 100 steel sheets, and a level 1 chip, locked until modifications reach level 10. Its evaluation calls it a grandfather-level veteran with 600,000 kilometers, every screw held together by miraculous balance, guaranteed not to break down so long as I never try to repair it. My hopes of an SUV collapse, but a big iron shell is still a big iron shell, so I accept it. Regional chat scrolls with players bragging about armored cars, others grieving hatchbacks, one poor soul wailing he drew a bicycle and being told to bolt to a stronger player. Compared to those, my van is not the worst hand. The next draw is for talents, and the chat tenses with me. 10 seconds pass with nothing and the channel explodes, someone boasting a B-rank strength talent with 10-fold amplification. Someone complaining their fire ability is only D rank, a third claiming C rank combat, the rest noting that no A ranks or higher have been posted, because the real winners keep their hands hidden. My chest grows colder until the chime rings and the system congratulates me on the SSS rank hidden talent daily intelligence, marked unique. The panel explains that each day I receive one special piece of intelligence I can accept or decline, and if I decline it, triggers somewhere in the day without my knowing, claiming itself the talent with the highest potential, and telling the so-called lucky emperors to step aside because their intelligence daddy has arrived. My personal panel lists me as Ji Jiang, Constitution 11 against an adult male average of 10, Spirit 9 against 10, Bound Vehicle the dilapidated van, Talent daily intelligence at SSS rank, hidden, unique. The moment I see those 3 tags I almost lose my mind, because unique means I am the only person in this world with this ability, and in a survival game knowing things first is the entire game. The system confirms all novice configurations distributed and tells every player to begin, adding that a treasure chest spawns randomly near each start. I climb out sweeping the grass, and a notification asks if I want today's intelligence. I decline because the announcement has already told me where a chest is and overlapping intel would waste the draw. A minute later I spot a glowing wooden box 7 or 8 meters from a wandering zombie. I soften my steps, ease over, lift the lid, and find gold. 3 parts, 2 leather, and a Glock 17 pistol. Magazine 20 of 40 with auto reload, durability 100% no modification fitted, rated a reliable mid-range sidearm with 60 rounds included. The weight of real steel calms me for the first time. I mimic a movie slide pull. The chamber clicks. The zombie hears it and charges. I fire. The first clips its shoulder. 3 more rounds sharpen my aim, and the last cracks its forehead at 3 or 4 meters. The system credits me 0.1 gold, and I wipe sweat off my face, stunned that killing zombies pays at all. Less stunned that 10 of them only adds to 1 gold. I pat the corpse, find rot, and move on. The clock says about 4 hours of daylight remain. Regional chat shows others cracking starter chests. Knives, tools, food, and in one absurd case an M4A1 rifle with infinite bullets modification. A result that sets the whole channel on fire. I swallow envy and remind myself my talent will draw me equal. A horrible commotion rolls in from one side. I curse, throw myself in the van, slam, ignite, jam into gear, and stomp the pedal. The engine coughs old smoke as wheels chew grass. 7 or 8 zombies already slamming the windows screaming, the full pressure of a horde hitting me for the first time. I shift up, build speed, and shake them off across the flat, finally pulling clear after several kilometers. The doors and hood are dented and bloody, the driver window cracked, durability dropped from 15 to 14%. A broken window means I become canned meat next pass. A panel offers 2 upgrade options. The shooting port path converts every side and rear window into welded firing ports. For 5 gold, 2 parts, 5 steel sheets. The tempered glass path reinforces, while keeping the view for 3 gold, 1 part, with 80% material refund on any reverse. Tempered glass alone is 3 gold, which means 30 zombies which I cannot pay in 60 bullets unless every shot is a headshot. I have to hunt chests, not zombies. I drive slowly, eyes straining against the monotony. After more than an hour, I find a small crimson fruit tree and pluck 43 fresh fruits, rated common plains fruit dense in nutrients. Fine in steady doses to enhance fitness, but apt to cause diarrhea if eaten as a staple. I bite one, sour and astringent, enough to wet my throat. A few hundred meters later, the ground turns mushy and I brake fast, breaking into cold sweat at the thought of being stuck with no road rescue. I step into muddy water to scout on foot, and as I grip the pistol, today's intelligence offers itself. This time I accept. The intel tells me I have reached the outskirts of the swamp, where danger and opportunity coexist, where even zombies become prey. And that about 100 meters southeast, an unusual bronze sheen has appeared, advising me to explore carefully with my weapon. I move in low and slow, mud climbing above my ankles. My sole's nearly sucked off, winding python tracks crisscrossing the wet grass, which makes my scalp tingle. After 100 meters, I reach the target and find a wooden chest half buried in muck. Inside, 1 gold, 5 python skins, 200 universal bullets, an AK-47, and a short dagger. The rifle reads 100% durability, no modification, magazine 30 of 180 with auto reload, rated the most mass-produced rifle in the world, beloved of pirates and gangs, takes everything down in one burst and only needs another if the first did not. The dagger is full durability, no modification, sharp and easy to hide, rated for life or death sneak attacks, the description telling me not to hesitate and just stab. The python skins will craft armor, and the universal bullets reload everything but sniper rifles. True hard currency. I slot dagger and pistol on either side of my belt and lift the AK, confidence flooding back. Then the intel nags about the bronze sheen. The wooden chest cannot be it. I crouch and watch. A python 7 or 8 meters long and thick as a bull glides 4 or 5 meters in front of me, and I freeze. In 10 minutes, I count at least 5 large pythons, one well over 15 meters, big enough that an embrace would grind every bone in my body to dust. After a tense half hour, I notice a flicker of bronze in a patch a python just crossed, the surface already filming back over with mud. I plunge my hands in until I feel a hard box, heave, and the chest breaks the surface clean. The panel calls it a bronze treasure chest, 3rd tier in the order of wooden, black iron, bronze, silver, gold, purple radiance, black diamond, and legendary, and tells me to be secretly happy because finding a 3rd tier chest on day 1 is a result almost nobody else will match. I pop the lid and a crisp clang sounds as brilliant light spills out. The bronze chest gives me a sniper rifle, an armor core rated rare, a stack of universal bullets, and a hot weapon modification called ballistic correction. I take the haul in and turn the van back to safer ground. The regional chat scrolls past, a handful of players stumbling into second chests, one veteran bragging about a long knife plus 200 bullets and being cursed as a European emperor who hogs all the luck, others unable to find their first chest at all, several posting buyout requests for ammunition at any price. Everyone is racing to arm up. I push toward an upgrade. The shooting port path makes more sense given my new firepower, so I sync the materials and confirm. In a single flash of white light, the cracked, blood-stained windows become welded steel sheets fitted with sliding gates sized for weapons from 20 to 300 millimeters across. 5 heavy gates along the sides and rear. The front windshield upgraded into tempered glass is an unexpected bonus. The dilapidated van has become a mobile bunker with a faint cyberpunk wasteland edge. The panel notes that engine, tires, doors, exterior armor, roof machine gun, comfort features like air conditioning, sound system, central screen, heated ventilated massage seats, generator, and refrigerator are all upgradable, each counting as 1 level. An advancement unlocks at level 10. I open the trading post. Day 1 is the most chaotic and the best window for bargains. Most players dumping materials and buying weapons and ammunition. Handguns at 3 gold or more with ammunition separate. Rifles and machine guns priceless, and traded by private message ammunition the most absurd of all at 2 or 3 gold per 100 universal rounds. The math is brutal. I only profit if I drop a zombie in 3 bullets or fewer. The starting population has fallen from 100,000 to 97,000 in only hours. Nearly 3,000 gone for good. The chat is a rolling wave of bravado and panic. Players urging each other to dump everything into firepower and become a nuclear-powered tiger. Recruiters demanding fully enclosed vehicles and at least 1 hot weapon. Someone begging to be taken in with only a cold weapon and being mocked for sitting at the dog's table. buyers shouting for unlimited bullets. Almost everyone is over-investing in firepower and ignoring defense, which means parts and steel sheets are at their historic low. I take 1,500 of my 2,000 universal bullets and break them into 15 lots of 100 at 3 gold each, keeping 500 for emergencies, and they clear in minutes for 45 gold, my purse reaching 64.4. Then I pivot and buy parts in bulk at 0.1 to 0.2 each, doubling my money even if price ticks up by half. Worst case, I keep them for personal use with a 7-day countdown coming. I rip through purchase after purchase, a small cluster of other players starting to do the same, narrowing the window. By the last minutes before dusk, I have bought over 500 parts. The regional price has climbed by 0.2, and I switched to 30 steel sheets and a small stack of food and drinks before stopping. 7.3 gold left. Sniper rifle, handgun, short dagger, 450 universal bullets, 1 ballistic correction, 583 parts, 30 steel sheets, 12 python skins, 2 leather, 1 rare armor core, 42 fresh fruits, 10 bread, 3 cola, 5 mineral water. The window for seizing initiative has closed, and time to prepare for night begins. The sun slips under the horizon, the whole plain darkening together. I arrange the 4 weapons, dagger and handgun on my belt, sniper mounted at the rear side window, Alaska in hand. I load 50 rounds into the handgun and 200 into the AK, then apply ballistic correction to the sniper, since the modification lets a non-professional hold steady at extreme range. That is the gift of modifications and the reason most sit unsold at 20 gold or more. Prices like no recoil, infinite durability, super barrel cooling, and super silencer, all far above the weapons they bolt onto. And legendary infinite bullets is not even listed because the early game cheat would only be bartered for something of equal value. And nothing of equal value exists yet. The sky has gone fully dark, the bright moon climbing, stars scattered, a soft breeze through the grass that would feel like a perfect summer night if monsters were not roaming. As the clock passes 6, a scrolling announcement mocks weak little rabbits to hide because night has fallen and the monsters are hunting. The channel goes tense in a heartbeat, players shouting for teammates, posting coordinates. A user named Lee Jong-gook posts his coordinates and welcomes any brother who cannot hold out tonight, says over 20 are already gathered, that he only asks for upright values, unity and obedience. The chat explodes with awe that this is the boss who pulled the tank, others gasping that another user is recruiting in the Black Mountain mining area for their leader Jang Dongjae, the boss who drew the infinite bullets M4A1. I watch and stay silent because I have no intention of joining anyone. Groups fracture the second resources stop being even, and this is not Blue Star. There is no law, only morality and conscience holding things together, which is to say nothing for long. I post my own warning telling everyone not to run around right now, to kill engines, flatten seats, and not fire around unless they have over 200 in reserve, since zombies are extremely sensitive to sound. My warning rattles the channel. Players who are ready to break camp call it a basin of cold water, some asking if it is really that dangerous, some confirming they fired and immediately drew several zombies, others reminding that Lee Jong-gook said to come only if you truly cannot hold out. Then the cries change as someone screams that they are here, a creeping crimson mist spreading across the wilderness, terrifying figures rising and howling. Night zombies are nothing like the slow things of the day. Under the red mist, they slip into a bloodthirsty berserk state, running in waves, searching for living flesh. I watch through the shooting window, an order of magnitude more zombies than during the day, speed and force sharply higher. Soon panicked gunfire echoes across the dark and does not stop. I climb to the back, pick up the sniper, and scan. 2 kilometers out, an old man's mobility scooter is smothered by zombies, its owner firing wildly while trying to start it and run. Windows shattering, grotesque shapes squeezing through, his fire lasting seconds before he is torn apart and devoured. The scene makes me frown. The online count drops in real time, 97, 96 and a half, 96,000. The channel is wall-to-wall screaming for help, players boasting they barely broke out of encirclements, veterans yelling to drive away because staying gets you swarmed. One numb voice asking what scale the 7-day horde will be if this many do not count as a horde. Then a paid rescue cry catches my eye, a player offering 2 gold plus a super silencer modification for anyone who can save him, while others bicker that everyone is for themselves and that cold weapons are better against zombies because they do not attract more, with someone snapping that letting a zombie grab you at melee is instant death. I sit up. A super silencer is good, only one currently on the exchange listed at an outrageous 30 gold, and this could be the same. I private message the seller telling him I will take it if he is within 10 kilometers. He answers instantly, pinging 7 kilometers off. I ask how long he can hold. The man, Idaho Ju-sung, tells me his windows are upgraded, but the body is not thick enough. A dozen zombies on him, he dare not step out, begging me to hurry. I tell him to wait, fire the engine and roll out. The van coughing 2 puffs of black exhaust. Nearby zombies hear the engine and string themselves out behind my rear bumper. The flat terrain letting the van push over 40 kilometers an hour. Just fast enough not to be surrounded. I cut through the night dragging them, some clawing doors, some climbing the roof, others lunging straight into the grill with sickening impacts that can pin bodies under my chassis and jam the van in place. I had not planned to drive at night and never upgraded harder configurations, but clearly that has to change. I pull up the upgrade menu and prioritize tires and chassis. The tire menu offers 4 routes: all-terrain balancing road and off-road for 2 gold and 1 leather, mud terrain for extreme off-road at 5 gold and 2 leather, snow tires for ice and snow at the same cost, and high-performance run flat holding 100 kilometers an hour even deflated for 10 gold and 5 leather, more locked behind advancement, all stored in the system trunk for free swapping. I buy all-terrain. A flash of white light replaces my 4 deflated tires with huge thick-treaded all-terrains, and the van's road feel instantly stabilizes. The chassis options give me an off-road primary for 5 gold and 5 parts, with independent 4-wheel suspension, or performance primary for 10 gold and 10 parts built for speed and stability, with air suspension wanting engine and transmission upgrades. I take off-road, another chime, the whole chassis lifting noticeably. Ride going solid under me. The engine roars and the 4 wheels chew the wilderness joyfully, this broken van driving like an actual off-roader. Durability climbs from 14% before the window upgrade, to 19% after, and now 35% with tires and chassis. I push to its 60-kilometer limit, leaving the zombies behind. To go faster I would need engine and transmission, which I cannot afford with less than 1 gold left. Across the plains, other vehicles flee with their own ribbons of zombies. Driving to escape now everyone's last resort. Vehicle defense is going to be paramount, and I am glad I stockpiled parts. After half an hour I close on my destination, pulling into a hidden spot to glass with my scope. A black sedan, chassis sick angle, wheels jammed with bloody corpses, completely stuck. A dozen zombies clawing the doors while inside Ju-sung is half out of his mind. As I close within a kilometer, the radio frequency syncs automatically, and the second the channel opens he is wailing. I tell him I want the reward first and open a trade. He does not argue terms because he has no leverage. Even if I bailed, all he could do is curse me and chat before he died, and nobody would read it. The trade drops a super silencer plus 2.1 gold into inventory. The description calls it a firearm modification that fully kills muzzle flash, drops gun noise to a minimum, reduces recoil, and improves handling. Permanently bound once installed. A good horse deserves a good saddle, so my AK and pistol are not worthy, and I install it on the sniper. White light flares along the muzzle and a matte-textured silencer settles in. I climb into the back, open the firing port, slide barrel and scope out, chamber around with a soft click, sight in, and squeeze. What had been a fierce roar becomes a crisp, elegant whistle. The bullet sliding more than 1,000 meters into a zombie's head, the skull bursting like a watermelon across the sedan windows. Stable, exactly where I aim, most credit going to ballistic correction plus the silencer stability. I fire again, the crosshair marking lives for collection, sometimes punching through 2 or 3 overlapping zombies with 1 round. Kill notifications roll in, each headshot a 10th of the gold, some adding leather. Ju-sung, curled with his head in his hands, lifts his face, watches zombies headshotted one after another, from somewhere far in the dark, and bursts into tears, praising the boss terrified earlier I would take payment and run. In under a minute I pick off every zombie on him, no new ones drawn thanks to the silencer. I radio that it is handled and he can clear bodies from under his car himself, because I am leaving. Ju-sung pours out gratitude, calling me brother, asking if I will take him as a subordinate with his C-grade support talent. I refuse, telling him I do not take subordinates. The operation cost 20 rounds and almost 10 kilometers of fuel, netting 3.6 gold plus the silencer, a huge profit. I park, eat 2 pieces of bread and wash them down with cola. I check sniper rifle bullets on the exchange and see them cheap, most at 1.5 gold per 100, a few at 1.4 or 3. Scarce snipers meaning players convert unwanted rounds into universals. I buy 200 rounds and load them all, suddenly rich in ammunition. I keep posting that I am accepting paid commissions, and over the next few hours I help trapped players in succession. Early game is good for reputation, so I do not overcharge, just a small fee, some giving a coin, some food or materials. Jobs along my path since I have to kill zombies anyway. But it is not long before I hit an outrageous one. Idaho Wang Guang. Surrounded by zombies, he refuses to pay a single coin and demands free rescue on righteous moral grounds. I tell him he is an idiot and move on, and he completely loses it, posting a denunciation calling me out by name, claiming I had promised to help others but passed him over, that I demanded money and abused him, accusing me of disregarding human life and being trash unfit to be human. The channel ignites, but nobody is stupid. The first response is that he is just leeching and has the nerve to complain publicly, calling him a giant baby raised on coddled assumptions that everyone owes him service. Players I rescued earlier go hardest, snarling that risking your life for strangers deserves a fee, that if people like him scare off bid shots they will be torn apart alive, that they would shoot him on sight. He tries to bite back but is buried under contempt, blocked so many times his ID flips to the red public enemy tag. I take orders along the road. Between 7 and 12, I cover hundreds of kilometers and burn almost all 200 fresh bullets. As I finish my last order, a crisp notification rings, congratulating me on obtaining the title Ranger, a white tier title granting Constitution +3 and Spirit +3, with an additional kill gold bonus of 20% on an accumulating withdrawal anytime basis. The evaluation saying the bearer does the deed and brushes his clothes and walks away. Awarded for 10 rescues in a limited time. I equip it on the spot. Strength, stamina, perception, and clarity sharpen at once. The kill gold bonus is rare and the long tail benefit will be enormous. The haul sits at 21.5 gold. Weapons, the modified level 2 sniper, 1 rifle, 1 pistol, a short dagger, 450 universal rounds. Tools, a pickaxe and a cleaver. Materials, 589 parts, 33 steel sheets, 12 python skin, 15 leather, 1 rare armor core. Food, 42 fresh fruits, 8 bread, 2 cola, 8 mineral water, 5 ham sausage, 5 instant cup noodles. Bountiful. It is deep into the night. Most players have survived their own way and the area count stabilizes at 93,000. Prices have shifted, food and water down 30% from pre-dusk highs. Parts and steel sheets multiplied several times. Parts at half a gold each. Firearms and ammunition slightly up. Vehicle fuel doubled from 3 gold to 6 per unit. Fuel is hard currency, without it no scavenging and no fleeing. I buy 1 unit of fuel as backup, plus food and drink, plus 400 sniper rounds, and my gold is almost empty again. I keep the parts for my own builds. In the early hours, the pressure drops and players ease up. I recline and read the channel. People crying they barely made it. Durability at 7%. Asking how to repair. Veterans noting upgrades cost gold and parts. Lamenting they did not stock parts when they were a tenth of a gold during the day. Urging stockpiling fast because hordes are coming. Someone asks if anyone has tried night exploration. The answer being who would dare, since 1 scratch is basically death without antiviral serum, which now lists at 100 gold a shot. A voice cuts through shouting sunshine broccoli for parts, that it boosts physique when eaten, with another snapping at them to stop spamming because nobody trades parts for food now, especially not with free fresh fruit available. My eyes light up. I private message the seller, Idaho Vegetable Pig, an interesting handle since most are just their own names. The seller replies instantly, attaching the broccoli with the system description. Sunshine broccoli, high-grade vegetable, a unique plain specialty abundant in the starry sky great forest, nurtured by ample rain and sun. Crisp and sweet, with consumption raising physique by 0.1 per plant, and a daily growth limit of 5 times. Direct physique boosting is on another level than fresh fruit, which only ticks up gradually over long use. Before I can reply, Vegetable Pig fires off messages back to back, insisting it is cheap, 1 part for 1 plant, 2 if I push, listing other inventory including white winter melon and aquatic eggplant, all high grade with special effects. I ask where on earth they picked so many strange vegetables, and Vegetable Pig calls it a trade secret, but offers to throw it in if I deal. I check the exchange and find these vegetables cannot be listed for open trade, a monopoly industry, which is why this person has to hawk in public. We haggle and settle on 5 parts for 7 sunshine broccoli, plus several lesser effect vegetables. Vegetable Pig tells me to swear to keep it secret, then reveals that all of these are grown personally, growing them being their personal talent, with a proud emoticon. I ask if serious, they insist yes, untradeable elsewhere, and we add each other as friends. I pull out a broccoli, palm-sized, glossy and moist. I bite in and my eyes go wide, crisp and sweet and rich with juice. I polish off all 5 plants, and a warm, slightly tipsy feeling spreads through me, my physique inching up. The panel reads name Ji Jiang. Title Ranger with physique +3, spirit +3, additional kill bonus +20%. Physique 14.5, up by half a point against the male average of 10. Spirit 12 against the average. Accumulated kill bonus 0 gold. Bound vehicle old minivan at modified level 3. Talent daily intelligence at SSS rank. Hidden and unique. I close the panel satisfied, telling myself that if my physique keeps climbing, I might try cold weapons later. From what I can see, most players have 4 upgrade paths. The first is the vehicle path, dumping resources into gold and parts to push the car up tiers fast, aiming at 2nd tier vehicles. The second is personal attribute, prioritizing constitution then spirit, the most fundamental physical evolution route, though everyone is cautious about close quarters knife work without a foundation. The third is the weapon path, fastest results and safer, but durability means weapons need reinvestment. My sniper already losing 8% in one night, so unless infinite durability exists, weapons may not stay top tier. The fourth is hoarding supplies, simplest and lowest risk, finding a hole to hide in, but lowest late game survival since nothing keeps up with rising monster strength. Each has pros and cons. The survival guide recommends developing comprehensively, none ignorable. Ideally, a small group splits the four, each specializing, but that requires extreme trust, because one betrayal collapses everything, which is exactly why I refuse to team up. Luckily, I have daily intelligence and only need to stabilize early. I drift off in the stiff driver's seat, exhausted. It is an uncomfortable night. Zombies wandering up to scratch the door and howl, jolting me awake repeatedly. At dawn, the sun lifts, dew clinging crystal clear to grass blades, birds chirping on the roof. A weather report scrolls across my view calling today cloudy turning clear, 15 to 28 degrees Celsius, favoring the white-scaled fish of Sunken Moon Lake. A good day for fishing. I draw a deep breath of cool morning air and stretch, my back twinging, telling myself I really need to upgrade the van soon, at minimum a bed. I eat breakfast, 3 large loaves, 2 hot dogs, 2 fresh fruits and a sunshine broccoli, 2 cucumbers, and a large bottle of water, all of it only filling me halfway since appetite scaled with constitution. I wish out loud for hot pot, but starch sausages are the only savory option. Day 2. Survival pressure has every player even more wound up, many already moving before dawn. In under 10 minutes, I spot a wooden chest in a small basin, hop out, crack it with a creak, and pull 2 gold, 400 universal bullets, and 1 unit of fuel. A pure resource chest worth over 15 gold. A strong start. With the upgraded tires and chassis, the van's effective speed is nearly doubled. Eyesight sharpened by added spirit, search rate markedly higher. I do not find another chest for hours, though I kill around 20 zombies for 2 gold. And I spot a wild deer that I take down with a sniper, then bleed and skin for 1 deer hide, and 10 units of fresh venison. Without fire or cookware, I cannot eat the venison, and fresh meat cannot be listed on the exchange. Only modern foods like noodles and ham trade, so I bag it for storage. The backpack has no time flow, so food never spoils. As noon approaches, I chew through Vegetable Pig's vegetables while driving. The familiar voice chimes in my head with today's intelligence. I accept. It reads that to my southwest lies a low vine forest, vines suitable for armor, tools like axes for gathering, but fierce beasts and venomous insects appear often, and one must be extremely careful, with a note that an unusual metallic glint seems to have appeared there in the past few days. That metallic sheen again. I open the right firing port, spot the vine forest, drive over and gear up, pistol and dagger at waist, Alaska in hand, sniper slung across my back since this place is bound to hide something on the order of an adult blood python. I slip in silently. The vines are nothing Blue Star ever grew, gnarled and winding, tough enough my dagger barely scratches them, perfect armor material if I had the tools. Something rustles underfoot, a centipede over 70 centimeters long and thick as my wrist. A chill runs from my soles to my skull, but I do not dare fire here, so I drive the dagger through its head, colored goo pinning it. The system confirms a venomous centipede kill, gold plus 0.2, venom plus 1. Better drops than zombies. Insects come in waves, large crawlers, glowing blue scorpions, head-sized spiders. The super silencer picks them off without alarming anything bigger. Half an hour of wandering and I freeze. 2 completely black boxes lie among a dense knot of vines, surfaces shimmering metallic in the sunlight. 2 of them. My heart trembles. I push through, but the vines thicken, and a meter out I can no longer pull them apart. I switch to slow dagger work, 10 minutes sawing my arm raw for a handful, then give up and burn dozens of sniper rounds shooting the vines apart, until I reach the boxes. The system identifies them as black iron treasure chests, a step above wooden. I pop the first. A crisp clang, a flash, and the system rolls out 9 gold coins, 20 dwarf vines, 1,000 universal bullets, 1 melee weapon modification called Super Edge Sharpening, and 1 firearm modification called Infinite Bullets. I freeze for several seconds, then wild joy crashes through me. Infinite Bullets, the legendary early game cheat. The descriptions roll in. Super Edge Sharpening, the strongest core of the melee modification series, permanently bound, and Infinite Bullets expanding any firearm magazine to infinite with reload cut to 3 seconds. Also permanent. 2 core modifications in 1 chest. Infinite Bullets is almost never listed. Prices on the order of antiviral serum. I crack the second. 12 gold, 24 dwarf vines, 1,300 universal bullets, 1 dwarf vine armor, 6 C-level talent shards, and 1 B-level talent shard. The dwarf vine armor is common, woven from toughest core strands, stops ordinary bullets and blade slashes, self-repairs in water. The shards are more interesting. 10 C-level synthesize 1 random C-level talent, 10 B-level 1 B-level talent. I had assumed every player only had 1 innate talent, but apparently you can stack more. The ceiling for every player just lifted. Not every chest drops shards, and from this sample only black iron and above seem to, at 1 in 2 odds, at least 20 black iron chests for 1B rank, or higher grade chests which are not easy to find. I bag the shards, pull out the dwarf fine armor and put it on. My only entry-level equipment. Lowest common grade, but it stops bullets, self-repairs, bends like a jacket, 2 or 3 pounds, no restriction on movement. Time to retreat. The smell of something large hangs over this place, vines smeared with mucus. On the way back, insects press toward me, and the sniper is no longer enough. I drop stealth, swap to AK on 3-round bursts, and back out spraying. Because without antiviral serum, one bite is instant death. Gunfire roars and the rustling answers. Then a crisp clattering of joints in the distance. A giant terror centipede on the move. I shove the firearms into my backpack and sprint. The terrifying chase pushing me through vines I crawl under and leap over at top speed. The vines slow it just enough, and after a few minutes I break out. Rush to the van. Slam. Ignite. Hit the gas. The exhaust coughs old smoke as the van lurches forward. And only then do I see what was chasing me. A giant terror centipede, easily a meter thick, hundreds of segmented legs, body sheathed in black armor glinting in sunlight. The front half alone tens of meters long, with more still in the trees. The system profile names it an elite monster, large arthropod nesting in the dwarf vine forest. Not venomous like its smaller kin, but ferociously territorial, capable of cutting a human in half with its pincer teeth. I had thought the adult blood python was elite, but this is what an elite actually looks like. Outside the forest, it catches the van in under 10 seconds. Its body rears onto the roof, segmented legs hammering until the thin metal dents in a dozen places. Then its pincers bite the door and durability drops 5%. The mass kills my speed and the van starts to drift. In that moment, an upgrade prompt opens. Vehicle body route 1 external armor, replacing the frame with integrated die-cast alloy, plus 8mm military bulletproof layer. 10 gold, 10 parts, 20 steel sheets. Upgrade now. The van flares with blinding white. The pincer teeth severed clang to the cabin floor, and as the glow fades, every dent is gone. The exterior reborn as thick riveted steel sheets. The centipede screams, blue blood pouring from where its pincers used to be, antennae thrashing. It throws itself at the van, but the upgraded armor is on another tier, and without pincers it cannot scratch me. I empty a full AK magazine into its body. The carapace dimples but holds. Only occasional lucky hits between segments. I search the exchange for heavy machine guns. Maxim MG08, German MG34, the QJZ-171, the Gatling M134. Prices are down because heavy weapons burn bullets at dozens of rounds a second. 3 gold burns in 2 seconds. You would have to kill a city of zombies to break even. None of that matters to me with infinite bullets. I find a Gatling at 99% durability and buy instantly. A pitch black 6-barreled handheld heavy machine gun materializes and drops my shoulder with its weight, tens of pounds. The system describes humanity's insane pursuit of firepower made flesh. A barrel carousel driven by electric motor, maximum rate over 5,000 rounds per minute. A grim reaper that turns all carbon-based life to ash. I apply infinite bullets on the spot, and because heavy machine guns are belt-fed, there is no reload gap. I can hold the trigger until the barrel cooks itself. I crank the side shutter open and shove the barrel out. The centipede lunges, opening its pus-leaking mouth to bite. I squeeze the trigger. A faint electric whine builds. The barrels spin up, then a hellish ton of fire erupts, over 60 rounds a second pouring into its mouth and shredding the oral cavity in a heartbeat. It shrieks, arches backward, hits the ground twisting. I keep the trigger down and walk the stream across its body, punching through carapace and tearing flesh, until its escape instinct kicks in and it drags its mangled length toward the forest. I am not letting it walk. I kick the door, lift the Gatling, and pursue, sweeping it for a full minute until the massive shape stops moving. The barrels glow red as they slow. The system confirms giant terror centipede kill. Gold +2, 1 giant terror pincer, and congratulates me on the area first kill. Bonus reward 10 gold. I sag gasping. The recoil of a handheld Gatling brutal, but worth it. 12 gold from the first kill alone, and the pincer described as incredibly tough special material, usable for forging special growth equipment. Equipment that evolves and grows. The exchange shows nothing, which makes sense since I just took the area first kill. The Gatling barrels are still red. Overheated barrels have to cool or durability drops fast. That single spray cost me 3%. I make a mental note to grab infinite durability and super barrel cooling soon. It is already 4 in the afternoon, 2 hours to nightfall. I open my backpack, gold 19.5, up 6. Weapons, 1 sniper modified second tier, 1 heavy machine gun modified first tier, 1 rifle, 1 pistol, 1 short dagger, 3,150 universal bullets, 1 dwarf vine armor normal grade. Tools, 1 iron pickaxe, 1 machete. Materials, 574 parts, 13 steel sheets, 12 python skins, 1 deer hide, 21 leather, 44 dwarf vines, 9 venom, 1 giant terror pincer, 1 rare armor core, 2 units fuel. Food, 40 fresh fruit, 5 bread, 5 mineral water, 3 ham sausage, 5 cup noodles, 1 aquatic eggplant. Talent fragments, 6 C grade, 1 B grade. The bag is bloated. Each category caps at 10 slots, so I move deer hide and longer-lasting food to the trunk, and list python skins, venom, and dwarf vines on the exchange at market rate. About 10 gold together. I also list 2,500 universal bullets at 3 per 100. Total listing 75 gold. Prep phase is in full swing. Plenty of buyers, the bullets and scrap clear quickly, and my gold pushes past 100. A rich man does not shortchange himself, so I open seat upgrades. Fabric is breathable and tough at 3 gold. 2 parts, 2 leather. Imitation leather close to real leather at 5 gold, 2 parts. 3 leather. I pick imitation leather since I am covered in mud constantly and fabric would stink. White light flashes, all 5 seats reborn soft and cool. The musty smell gone. Next, the engine. Naturally aspirated 1.5-liter smooth linear at 7 gold and 5 parts with gearbox included. Or turbocharged 1.5 turbo strong low rev punch at 10 gold and 10 parts with gearbox. I pick turbocharged. White light flares under the hood. Engine and gearbox both refresh. I turn the key, drop into gear, and press. A powerful vibration shudders up, the van leaping forward with actual push into the seat. The panel reads Tier 1, top speed 120 km per hour, durability 57% and slowly dropping, fuel 0.2 units with a 50-kilometer range, fuel critical flagged. Upgraded components, shooting bay, tires, chassis, exterior armor, seats, engine, total level 6. Advancement requires 50 gold, 20 parts, 100 steel sheets, and 1 level 1 chip, only unlocked when every component hits level 10. The evaluation calls it a grandpa tier veteran with 600,000 kilometers brought back to a normal vehicle. The turbo burns more fuel, 1 unit now only 250 kilometers, so I burn both stored units to push my range to 550. I open the exchange for a level 1 chip, find only a handful listed at 15, 14.9, 14.8, message sellers one by one, haggle, and lock one at 11.8. I move on to daily life. 20 slices of high-grade Black Mountain toast, 10 cheese sandwiches, 10 each of puff pastry, crispy sausage, and custard buns for breakfast over the week. Hot food, rujiamo, donkey meat fire-baked buns, Cantonese dim sum, roasted duck, braised goose, cumin chicken racks, snacks konjac jelly, spicy strips tiger skin chicken feet, potato chips, nuts, spicy dried fish. 2 cases of cola at 24 bottles, 5 cases of bottled water at 12, 2 changes of clothes, tissues. Total damage 12.5 gold. Trunk finally stuffed with real food. It is already 5 less than an hour tonight too. I drive up to a high spot, pull the brake, open chat. The wall today is the usual prep mix. A rare rifle at 5 gold. Battlefield Alliance still recruiting at Sunken Moon Lake with strict gear requirements. A Black Mountain repair guy charging 2 gold per repair. A Twilight Canyon heckler scoffing his side charges 1. The Black Mountain man explodes. Asks if anyone has heard of the Ghost Dragon Society in the Black Mountain mining area. Threatens to deal with him in person. The Twilight Canyon side fires back that of course they have heard of Jang Dongjae's Ghost Dragon Society. Reputation filthy lately, his hyung is Lee Jong-guk, president of the Mountain and Sea Alliance, daring them to come. The Black Mountain side jeers that the Mountain and Sea Alliance is a pile of old, weak, and sick. Only Lee Jong-guk can fight. Most onlookers side with Lee Jong-guk, who acts honorably and has taken in many bad start survivors, while Ghost Dragon behaves like warlords. Both sides go quiet abruptly. The channel works out they hit the daily 10 message cap and got muted. I have heard pieces about both names. Jang Dongjae pulled the Infinite Bullets M4A1, president of Ghost Dragon Society, but with poor reputation. Lee Jong-kook has a military background, drew a tank at the start, first to form a team and set up a mutual aid alliance. From the chat, I mapped the big areas: Black Mountain Mining Area, Starry Sky Great Forest, Twilight Canyon, Sunken Moon Lake, plus smaller swamps and vine forests. If only there were a map. The mailbox shows 21. I open it. Vegetable pig. The same line every hour or two. Are you there, big boss? Brother reply to me, I have new dishes. Repeated from 11 in the morning to almost 6. As I read, another are you there comes in. I reply with a single one. At the same time, hundreds of kilometers off, on the edge of the Starry Sky Great Forest, a small pond ringed with dense trees, a mini chopped fish head vehicle sits in the shade. The girl tending the patch has twin ponytails and round frame glasses, pant legs rolled high, walking barefoot in the mud, pouring water onto rows, crouching with a small shovel to fertilize. A few sunshine broccoli sprout under her talent. She harvests, washes, baskets, then sighs that it is almost dark, and she does not know what to do about the Lingyam cabbage. Jin Sonon is genuinely at a loss. The cabbage in her basket sits clear as emerald glass, and she regrets pouring most of her energy into it today, because she hoped for a small fortune and cannot sell it. Her 10 daily messages are used up, all buried in the wall, and her only major client has not replied since morning. She does not dare trade offline because untradeable items can be plundered. A lesson learned. She opens her messages dejected to send Ji Jiang one more, only to see his single reply. She nearly jumps. She writes that he finally replied. I ask why she sent so many messages. She tells me she has good stuff. Look at Lingyan cabbage. The system rolls it up. Rare grade vegetable native to the Starry Sky Great Forest with uncommon seedlings. grown through special cultivation and heavy natural fertilizers, rich in spiritual energy and nutrients. Consumption grants +3 constitution with a daily limit of 1, plus a 7-day bonus to stamina and energy recovery. I sit on it before asking how much. She probes that since this is her first time growing it and the cost was steep, would I take a look? I tell her 2 gold plus 5 sunshine broccoli as a gift. She fires back that this is robbery, fuming that 2 gold is not even half her cost, and now he wants 5 broccoli on top. Asks herself why she does not just package herself up and ship herself over. She types furiously that her cost alone was 5 gold, and she cultivated for a whole day. I ask for proof. She copies transaction records for advanced fertilizer, rare cultivation soil, and spiritual water, with material usage details. Total cost 5.2 gold. I tell her, all right, name your price. She stammers her way to 6, then 5.5, feeling pathetic and S-rank talent nervous about haggling, but afraid I will walk, and without selling she cannot upgrade her chopped fish head van defenses for the second night. I offer 8 gold with one condition. From now on, she supplies me at least 1 lingyun cabbage and 5 sunshine broccoli every day. She nearly jumps at the 8, then her face freezes at the condition. The rare plant is too punishing on her energy, but there is real money in it. After a moment, she grits her teeth and accepts. The trade window opens, sunshine broccoli benchmarked at 0.7 gold per stalk. I drop 11.5 gold in. The trade closes. Up on my van, I cannot help grinning at the emerald cabbage in my hand. 3 full points of physique in a single bite. Becoming a god in the flesh would not be a dream if I could eat this regularly. I am honestly relieved Vegetable Pig did not sell it before I got to her, because 8 gold is not expensive. I could have pressed her, but then she would never bring me good stuff again, and she is exactly the kind of partner I want as a private supplier. Whether I leave the rest of the field behind on personal attributes depends on people like her. I pop a bottle of cola and dig into dinner. Rugiamo, donkey meat fire, roast duck with my mouth shiny. The occasional bite of cabbage cutting the grease. A warm energy threads through me, the cabbage's spiritual energy strengthening my frame at a visible rate. I finish the cabbage, polish off all 5 broccoli as dessert, and slump with a deep satisfied belch. When I clench my fist, the outline of muscle stands out clean on my forearm. The panel reads Title Ranger granting Physique +3 Spirit +3 +20% kill bonus. Physique 18 +3.5 from Title. Spirit 12, accumulated bonus 0.62 gold withdrawable. Vehicle van modified level 6 normal grade, talent daily intelligence SSS. Hidden unique. Physique 18 is nearly double a normal adult. I am about to crack another snack when the radio crackles and a voice asks if I am there. I grab the sniper, crack the firing port, and only then notice 3 vehicles parked in a tight triangle, a small truck, an SUV, and an old man's happy car. 5 or 6 men and women shift sandbags and baffles, building rough fortifications. The leader, a young man with a radio mic and binoculars, glassing my van. When he sees my port crack open, he smiles and waves. I pick up my mic and ask what he wants. He introduces himself as Joe Soryong, points out the flag, explains they are from the Mountain and Sea Alliance setting up defense for the night. He says I look capable, even my external armor is upgraded, asks if I want to join for the night, because with them I will make it through. Adds with real confidence they run 5 firearms with 1,200 rounds between them, and aside from the happy car the other 2 are upgraded armor. I ask if Mountain and Sea Alliance people are not supposed to be in Twilight Canyon. Joe Soryong does not hide it, explains his crew spent the day at Black Mountain pulling iron ore and elemental ore. Resources untradeable on the exchange and untransferable by personal trade. Only haulable by hand. Back at base, members with relevant talents refine the haul into steel sheets and parts to list, an operation they only just started today. My horizons widen. The talented players are already running industrial chains. The Mountain and Sea Alliance is led by Lee Jong-guk, over 600 members and growing, with a complete operating system. 3 of Joe Soryong's small team actually lost vehicles last night and are now living inside the other 3, which is why their SUV and truck upgraded armor quickly. Lee Jong-guk's military background apparently includes combat instruction, because Joe Soryong's fortifications are crude but meticulous. Defending outside the vehicles lets them snipe from a distance, so the horde does not bleed durability, with a plan of holding the peak then retreating inside. Joe Soryong asks if I am in, says we can at least cooperate for the night, but I refuse. No reason to share a position. A fat man next to him tells him to let it go, says when I cannot hold, I will come asking. Joe Soryong gives up with a sigh, warns paid assistance only later. I tell him the same applies in reverse. The fat man and others laugh, 6 of them with 2 armored vehicles, obvious which way help flows. The conversation ends. The sky goes fully dark. Blood mist rolls silently over the plain. The fat man jumps grinning, steps onto a sandbag, raises his AK and burns 1 round into the sky talking about how thirsty his rifle is. A woman snaps at him for wasting bullets. He waves it off, but in the next breath every face on the line goes pale. In the spreading mist, there are not just ordinary zombies but huge bloated ones in numbers, each over 2 meters, covered in horrifying tumors, bellies distended like balloons. A new type. Joe Soryong tightens his voice and orders them to hold the line and wait until they close. In my scope, a readout labels 1 a fleshball zombie, special variant with massive size and thick fat, strength and defense extremely powerful, speed slightly slow. My eyes narrow, because if a special is already spawning on night 2, the difficulty is climbing linearly. I rack the rifle, line up the nearest, fire. The bullet covers more than 1,000 meters and hits between its brows, taking off most of the skull, the 700 or 800 caddy body crashing. The kill rings, fleshball zombie down plus 0.5. Same rate as an adult swamp blood python. Boss tier payout. I am going to make a fortune tonight. My heart heats, kill after kill chimes. The fleshballs are slow, so ordinary zombies have already swarmed the van and started battering. Their attacks tickle the armor. Only an elite like the giant terror centipede could bite through with pincers, but the volume fouls my line. I switch ports and start clearing. Then I glance toward Joe Soryong, and my eyes go wide. Their position is a tightening ring, the safe distance shrinking, the problem being gunfire pulled every zombie nearby. They can grind ordinary zombies, but fleshballs eat body shots, and only Joe Soryong has ballistic correction tasked with headshots, 2 rounds each, not enough. When a fleshball slams in with its full belly, the line collapses. Joe Soryong shouts to get in the cars. They scramble back. Truck and SUV with armor hold, but the elderly scooter takes the worst. 2 girls inside screaming as the fleshball hammers it into a twisted shell. They abandon undercover and bolt to the truck and SUV as dependents. Every vehicle is the absolute territory of its survivor, and others can only abandon their own car and with permission board and bind to someone else's, becoming a subordinate. Dependents cannot change binding, cannot betray, and any gold they earn can only be spent on the owner's vehicle, miserable if bound to someone twisted. I keep working the sniper, rounds slicing the mist, taking head after head. In less than 10 minutes, nearly 10 fleshballs down for 5 gold. The fleshballs on my side thin, the rest out of range, but I am in no rush to drive out, because a job is sitting right next to me. In the distant truck, Joe Soryong and 2 dependents are pale and dripping, terrifying impacts pounding outside, the vehicle bucking like a coin-op ride. Even with armor, durability is dropping 1% every 2 minutes, and they upgraded tempered glass instead of firing ports so they can barely shoot back. The whole vehicle will come apart inside 2 hours, the fat man cracking that he feels like meat in a tin can. Joe Soryong says they can only call for help. Even with an engine, they risk getting stuck. He thinks of me, assumes I am in the same shape, pulls binoculars, sights through the gaps, and freezes. No zombies around me at all, only a handful of corpses. The fat man chokes. How is this possible? Joe Soryong tells him bitterly not to bother. The guy has a sniper and a super suppressor. He admits he underestimated me, remembers my parting words, feels shame, knows sincerity matters and this is not the time to haggle. He confers with the SUV and settles on the maximum, 13 gold plus a cold weapon modification labeled lightweight, then raises me with the offer, hoping I can pull the horde off. I just say accepted. Joe Soryong exhales and opens trade, sending across 13 gold in the modification. Lightweight, usable on all cold weapons, reduces main body weight by 2/3 after application. Permanently bound. Not bad, especially for heavy cold weapons. Joe Soryong tells me I do not have to take big risks, just drive a loop to lure. The safest method, trusting I have a way. But I do not intend to run. Too much trouble. Why run when I can shoot them all? I bring up the car roof upgrade tree. The sunroof has 2 paths. A lookout sunroof, retractable steel gate letting 1 person look out at 5 gold. 2 parts, 5 steel sheets. Or a machine gun mount, detachable mount, accepting all kinds of heavy machine guns at 7 gold, 5 parts, 5 steel sheets. I pick machine gun mount. The roof glows white, the plate becomes a retractable gate, a ladder unfolds. I climb up with the pistol, point at the sky, fire 3 shots. Joe Soryong's side has gone quiet. My shots roll across the high ground, and every nearby zombie's head snaps to me. Even the 100+ pressing Joe Soryong freeze and turn. I burn 3 more, and the entire mass roars and charges my van. Joe Soryong and crew are stunned, asking how I dare, since gunfire is louder than engines, and they only dared to suppress in place because they had the firepower. The zombies around the truck recede like a tide. The line clears. Suffocating pressure lifts. The fat man yells to run now. Joe Soryong tells him to wait. Everything depends on whether I can drag the horde clear. Except I do not drive. Joe Soryong sees me leaning my whole body out of the sunroof, sniper steady, dropping the closest one by one, ignoring the flood. He grabs a megaphone and shouts that I am about to be surrounded, but I keep picking off the closest, then drop the sniper and pull out a long dark thing which I mount on the roof bracket. The moment his eyes register it, his pupils contract. When the fat man takes the glasses, he nearly jumps, swearing it is a Gatling. By the second word, I have already seated it. 6 barrels spinning up to preheat. Then 6 barrels spew flame and a river of bullets pours out, sweeping the silhouettes. Over 200 regulars and at least 15 fleshballs. An assault that would shake any team. But in front of my infinite bullets Gatling, they are walking gold coins. Leaks waiting to be cut. Continuous gunfire becomes one roar rolling across the plain, the kinetic energy tearing apart everything it hits. Even the heavily armored flesh balls cannot endure, bursting into wet fragments, the kill log flashing wilder than any earlier moment of my life. I pivot the barrel left to right, clearing sectors. The horde lured from Jo Soryong is now 500 meters closing, as one dark mass, and I bare my teeth for final slaughter. Almost every bullet hits. Bodies pop apart like watermelons. In under 10 seconds, well over 100 zombies gone. The ground is slick of bloody remains. The battle is finished. I radio asking if they have a cigarette. Jo Soryong stutters yes and his crew trade an unopened pack across. I tilt the red-hot gun barrel up and touch the cigarette to it, the tip catching with a sizzle. Take a deep drag, smoke billowing as nicotine spins me a little. This is what the apocalypse feels like. The mowing alone netted over 40 gold, with title bonus and Jo Soryong's payment over 60. An absolutely thrilling haul. I tell them to stay put, climb down, fire the engine, pull out. Jo Soryong's crew exchange looks. Infinite bullets. They have actually run into a big shot with infinite bullets. The fat man says blankly, the guy just left. Jo Soryong snaps back, grabs the mic shouting for me to add him as a friend. Big shot, but I am already out of range. By the time I roll out the channel is a wall of panic. Screams about being unable to hold, payment offers, curses about tonight's zombies, someone asking how to fight a flesh ball and being told only headshots work because belly fat is a meter thick. Someone arguing at long range without ballistic correction even hitting is a miracle. Someone warning not to ram because flesh balls cannot be rammed, and there is already a story of someone slamming into one and lifting the entire front chassis. Someone laughing that the lone wolves and small teams who refused big groups are dumbfounded now. The regional count drops below 90,000, several thousand gone in under half an hour. I follow last night's playbook and post a paid assistance message, and the chat erupts. Another bid shot is running rescues, save me. Then a warning about scammers running fake rescues, calling out Jin Xian, Zhou Wuwu, and John Bin who promise rescue then open trade before arriving. Then someone notes, is that not Ji Zhang, the lone wolf from last night, running rescues again that confident? Someone else worrying because lone wolves could be scammers too? Then a counterwave, anyone calling Master G a scammer is asking for trouble. He saved them last night. They will personally call him the #1 sniper god of the plains. Someone else calls me Ji Hyung, saying I just saved their team. Then Jo Soryong joins with the first review, and to his credit does not expose my Gatling, only mentions I rescued the mining team. His testimony as a mountain and sea team leader hits hard, and within seconds I have hundreds of distress messages. I am buried in orders. I take a nearby order and start the night's rescue circuit. The rescue fee is bonus. The real money tonight is flesh balls at 10 per 5 gold, but driving tonight is harder. Flesh balls cannot be rammed like ordinary zombies. They have to be avoided or sniped, crushing my efficiency. Several times I stop to clear a path with the machine gun, order success rate down to 2 out of 10. Zombie pressure is so brutal many survivors are torn open before rescue can reach. By midnight, after 6 hours of non-stop driving and over 100 kilometers, I have completed 8 rescues for 50 gold plus materials, more generous than last night. And as the peak passes, demand drops. I park, lean back, and tally. Too many scattered items to fit, so I sort and list, clearing 20 gold, and withdraw the title kill bonus. Total comes to a frankly terrifying 271 gold. Most is kill money. Over 500 ordinary zombies and at least 150 flesh balls through me tonight. The natural ratio should be 30-1, but I deliberately hunted flesh balls all night. Among lone wolves, I am undisputedly first tier. Time to take off. Antiviral serum is still above 100 gold. I will wait. Only 1 infinite bullets is listed at a ridiculous 150 infinite durability not listed at all. Most hot weapon mods being hoarded. My sniper is at 68% durability and the Gatling at 77. A few more nights and they will be scrap, but nobody is selling. I spend 18 gold on super barrel cooling and 12 on no recoil, both burning on the Gatling. Super barrel cooling boosts cooling speed by 20 times and significantly slows durability loss, permanently bound. No recoil eliminates recoil for greatly improved stability, permanently bound. Then I pick up steel sheets and essentials. Now the main event. 7 of 10 vehicle parts are upgraded. I pick the last 3, the power generation device, the air conditioner, and the millimeter wave radar. The generator upgrades to include matching battery, powering air conditioner and multimedia, costing 3 gold, 3 parts, 1 cathode material. Air conditioner upgrades to front row cooling only requiring the generator first, costing 2 gold, 1 refrigerant. The millimeter wave radar upgrades to 6 radars covering front, back, left, right, monitoring moving objects within 20 meters, costing 5 gold, 5 parts. I run to the exchange for missing materials and click upgrade 1 by 1, and when the last finishes, a line appears telling me vehicle parts have all hit level 10 and advancement is unlocked. The requirement of 50 gold, 20 parts, 100 steel sheets, and 1 level 1 chip, conditions already met. I am hyped, dying to see what advanced vehicle this becomes, hoping for an RV. The system asks me to choose a path. Path 1, the Ghost Walker. drifting between night and mystery, good mobility, cheap to build, capable after special upgrades of consuming large fuel to go invisible in dark. Downside, single advancement track, and weakening mid to late. Path 2, the combat vehicle, meant for battle, good function and mobility, medium build cost, diverse combat and defensive components, no obvious weaknesses, suited for most. Path 3, the extreme equipment vehicle, triple warning not to choose if you do not have money, extreme function and mobility, extreme build cost, most diverse upgrade tree, strength scaling entirely with money poured in, ceiling and floor both breaking through the heavens. Not recommended for any survivor outside top tier because consumption is far beyond imagination. With a snide note that if I insist on being stubborn, then go right ahead. The reminders that everyone's initial vehicle differs, so options vary. Basic upgrade components carry over, and the path locks permanently. 3 completely different futures, and this is fate's crossroad. One wrong pick, a lifetime of regret. But for me, there is only one choice. With my SSS intelligence talent, am I really going to be afraid I cannot feed an extreme? Path 3, Advance. The system deducts 50 gold, 20 parts, 100 steel sheets, and 1 level 1 chip, and announces advancement successful. The van releases a blindingly dazzling white light. I float slightly off the seat, everything dissolving and the silhouette growing and reforming. The process lasts a full 2 minutes before I drop back into the driver's seat. Everything has changed. The readout names it a heavy armored RV, Tier 2. Max speed 50 kilometers per hour. Durability 100% and slowly decreasing. Remaining fuel 1.5 units, good for 225 kilometers. Upgraded components include shooting bay, marked not further upgradable, tires replaceable, chassis at level 1, outer armor at level 1, seats replaceable, the rest at level 10. Next advancement requires 1,500 gold, 400 parts, 5,000 steel sheets, 100 alloy, and 1 armor core, unlocked at level 50. The evaluation calls it a currently simple armored RV with many functions to develop but already an unconquerable steel beast against ordinary zombies. To survive the apocalypse, this is the ultimate survival platform. I explore. Up front 2 seats. The back a large partition space with small kitchen sink, sofa with dining table, a bed 2.2 by 1.5 meters, a hammock that drops from the partition, a tiny bathroom further back. I finally do not have to sleep on a sofa, do not have to take a dump in the wild, finally have a shower. Past 2 days I have been caked in mud and blood, sticky and rank. Unfortunately no water yet. When I turn the faucet now a drop comes, I will have to refill. I climb a telescopic ladder to the second floor partition, about 5 cubic meters of cargo space with sunroof above and the machine gun mount. Stepping outside, the riveted outer armor has full cyber wasteland presence. Something settling in my chest. I can finally live something resembling a human life. Time to get water and shower. Sunken Moon Lake is 2 kilometers off. A branch stream where I can refill. The moment I press the pedal, the car feels like a worn-out old ox, weak and sluggish. Max speed dropped from 120 to 50. The old engine cannot haul this body. Fuel consumption brutal. 1 unit now only 150 kilometers. Double the burn. This thing literally burns money. The warning was no joke, but I have plenty. I spend 15 gold and 10 parts to bump the engine to level 2. Displacement jumps to 2.0. Power thickens. Top speed around 80. At 1 in the morning, I pull up at the stream. The blood mist is lifted. Moon and stars laid clean on the water. I buy a pump and hose from the exchange, drop one end in the current, plug the other in the storage tank, and let the machine work. The full tank holds 300 liters a week easy. I lean against the side and light a cigarette. My eyes snag on a patch that should not be glowing, a soft white pulse seeping from weeds. I pull pistol dagger Alaska and move on it slow. Up close I make out a treasure chest sunk in grass, sides chased in strange patterns, stems lit ghostly green. The panel tells me this is a luminous treasure box, surfacing only when moonlight is just right, said to hide many good things. A special chest after the blood mist clears. I jackpotted on a water run. I crack it, 3 lines unrolling, 1 noise emitter, 30 rounds of armor-piercing bullet, and 1 special growth weapon gift box marked rare. Nothing like an ordinary chest. The noise emitter is a special firearm firing noise balls at distance, each releasing 5 minutes of high-frequency sound to draw zombies and monsters in. Max range, 1,000 meters, 12-hour recharge per ball. A monster magnet, useful for stacking targets or breaking a horde when I run. Magazine 1 of 1. Infinite recharge, the 2-ball cap and long cooldown will keep me from leaning on it. The armor-piercing rounds are special anti-material rifle ammunition. Extremely powerful and very rare. Untradeable. The only one I know is the Barrett. The exchange shows nothing, so I drop a buy notice on public channel and move to the 3rd reward. I have a hunch the long road of weapons ends at growth weapons. Ordinary firearms hit a ceiling once modification slots top out, while vehicles and personal stats keep climbing, so weapons need something that grows. I open it. The box dissolves into shifting white light, taking the shape of a gun, then a hammer, then a long sword, the form blurring faster until it settles. A blade reveals itself, about a meter long, body cold and black-red, ripple patterns running like waves, hilt rough and freezing. I grab and it does not move. I tighten grip and only with everything I have do I finally lift it. That is not picking up a sword, that is picking up a barbell, at least 100 jin of dead iron. The system names it Blood of the Moon, growth weapon at rare tier, where weapons run common, fine, rare, treasure, secret treasure, legendary, epic. Mythical, durability infinite, modification slots empty, forging progress 0%, exclusive skill not unlocked until treasure tier. The description calls it a gift from the goddess of night, forged from extraterrestrial iron and moon bloodstone, brutally powerful but too low level to show its real face. A reminder follows that once I own my first growth weapon, odds of pulling another drop hard. A trump card with exclusive skills down the road, and I already have the giant terror pincers, exactly like forging material for this. I drag the pincers out and tap forging, the system telling me I lack a blacksmith series talent. I knew it would not be easy. I will keep stripping materials off elite monsters and find a blacksmith I can trust. The modification slots should take, so I burn lightweight on it. The blade drops weight but only a little, nothing like the 2/3 claim. The listing reading lightweight level 1 with a note that all modification effects on growth equipment are cut by 80%, scaling back up as slot levels rise. Can the modification slot itself be leveled? Another bottomless pit. I apply super edge sharpening to Blood of the Moon. Light sweeps the blade, edge biting visibly keener. The power bump obvious. I let out a breath and run the math. Over 100 gold, vehicles, weapons, and stats all want feeding. I shift focus. Next buy is antiviral serum. I pull up 3 sellers at 145, 130, and 100 even. I message all 3. Whoever holds top tier loot is either a heavy hitter or someone panicking to cash out, and the cheap one reads exactly like the latter. I landed at 89.5 gold. The bottle is small, the liquid dark blue. The panel calling it the antiviral serum. A one-shot granting immunity to corpse poison, insect venom, snake venom, miasma, infection, with reduced effect on certain high-tier toxins. Worth every coin. I inject and feel nothing, but now the world's poisons cannot touch me. The tank is full. I still pump and hose, lock the door, peel off the smelly clothes, scrub 2 pounds of grime in the shower, change clean, dive onto the bed. The mattress takes me like an old friend, and I roll under the warm covers, soaking it in. Most survivors are still sleeping in dirt, and here I am in a luxury RV. I check chat, the anti-material buy notice unanswered. I drop a few more buy requests, watch the late chatter scroll, slide into sleep. I come up at 8, sun on the window, deep enough sleep that zombies clawing the door all night never woke me. I buy a toothbrush and towel and a cup, wash up, eat a small portion of breakfast, tuck the pistol, step outside. The weather panel calls today sunny 19 to 32 degrees, a clear day perfect for hunting in the starry sky great forest. Warning not to trespass into certain entities' territories. A few zombies that have been wearing on the armor lunge for me. I drop them with headshots and get in. I have overslept, so I push. The channel shows regional population down to a little over 80,000. The second night has the survivors wound tight. Early day 3 resource hunt frantic. Battlefield Alliance still recruiting at 5 gold ahead. A small group of 18 begs another team of 10 plus to push into the depths of the starry sky great forest on foot. Life or death. Cowards not welcome. Someone calls them suicidal. The deeper forest wall-to-wall elite nests. 2 hours ago, a 50-person Namsan Brotherhood team went in and was wiped out. The final message warning to stay out. The reply lands fast. Fortune favors the bold. 1 high-tier chest and you take off. Another agrees. Says he nearly got dragged off by a flesh ball last night. Says for a high-tier chest he would walk a dragon's den. Then Divine Wind Group recruits only big spenders with 200 gold cumulative spend. 13 members already and everyone an Apex player. Several defectors from major factions. I flick to private messages. Past friend request, there is one offering an anti-material sniper rifle. I reply, the answer instant. The seller calls me Master G and thought I had bought one elsewhere. Then drops the panel. Anti-material sniper rifle, Barrett M82A1, magazine 0 of 0 feeding only on armor-piercing rounds. Durability 100%. Extremely powerful anti-material weapon, the upper limit of individual thermal weapons. Recoil so vicious that firing it can crack clavicle or ribs and trigger massive internal bleeding. Forbidden to anyone of poor physical condition. Special gun types cannot be modified and sit at level 3 restricted trade. No exchange listing and no online personal trades. The system divides trades into 4 levels. Exchange, personal, offline, and untradeable. My Blood of the Moon sits at the top wall, fully untradeable. The Barrett at 3rd tier offline only. The seller calls himself Wang Dongriang, says he pulled this on day 1 and has been sitting on it. Finally found a real buyer. There are buyers, he says, but he is afraid of being robbed while I have a reputation. The benefit of prestige is faster than expected. We settle on 13 gold and a meeting point. The armored RV chassis treats anything but real swamp or mountain as flat ground, and I am there in under half an hour. He is in an ordinary sedan with upgraded chassis and exterior armor. A young guy bounces out waving like he has been waiting all his life. The others, several rough watchful men, take in the RV and visibly flinch, mistaking it for a truck then realizing it is a real armored RV. The unmistakable ride of a heavy hitter. Wang Dongriang and the rest raise hands and turn a slow circle, palms out. The formal weapons empty Goodwill Survivor show. I park and step down. He greets me, Master G, pops the trunk, hauls the Barrett out. Dozens of gin of dead weight. I confirm clean and transfer gold. The thing is heavy as advertised. The so-called cannon. Super sniper. Brutal heft. I head for the van, and at the last second Wang Dongriang and his men exchange looks. He calls out they have one more thing. I stop and turn. He waited until after the gun was paid to mention it, which means it costs trust as much as gold. A treasure map. I tighten at the word. He nods, says the gun, and this both came from a near miss at Black Mountain mining area, pulls a parchment scroll tied with hemp from his jacket, and lets me read. The panel calls it a cursed parchment scroll. Unique item, holding clues to the treasure of the Earth God. But because it lain too long in the Corpse King's tomb, a cursed mist covers its surface, and nothing on it can be read. The last line warns the holder not to let anyone know they possess it. The scroll cannot be carried in inventory and is level 3 restricted trade. A unique item. My pupils tighten. Wang Dongriang is far more frightened, hands shaking, asking if I am done reading. I tell him not to be afraid. I can buy it, relief washing off his face. The others ease. Holding this had clearly been eating at them. The second anyone heard they would be a target. They had wanted to find Lee Jungkook, he admits, but were too small to push a message that far, and only my public Barrett buy let them angle in. He floats 200 gold. It is worth far more, just not now. Gold is time-priced brutal to earn this early, and worth far more now than in a month. And in an ordinary survivor's hands, the scroll is a hot potato. Cashing out fast is sane. I tell him I cannot pay 200, and the scroll obviously has usage restrictions. The cursed mist would not be there if it were easy. He laughs and says I have keen eyes, priced it high to leave room. He counters 180. I say 80 final. His face twists like a man wearing a mask of pain. He gives in with a long sigh, calls it the price of getting to know a friend. With anyone else, they risked getting robbed, losing everything. 80 pushes his vehicle a tier and buys him real safety. I pay 50 straight up and the remaining 30 in parts. He swears they will keep this quiet, nothing good comes of leaking it. We add as friends in part. Back in the van, I set the parchment in the armrest, untie it and spread it. An ancient map unspools, mysterious lines, but the whole thing fogged under thick gray mist, only blurred outlines showing. The system tells me the scroll is sealed under cursed mist and cannot be viewed, that breaking the curse requires Corpse King blood, only obtainable by killing the Corpse King. No wonder Wang Dongriang was not hunting himself. The prerequisite is wildly out of his weight class. I keep driving. For hours I run hard across the plains, the land too open, no forests or swamps to hide loot, my haul thin. Other than scattered animals and stray zombies there is little to fight. Though luck holds and I crack 2 wooden chests for 8 gold, 10 parts, 12 leather, and miscellany. No intelligence triggers either. To find real loot I need terrain. Wang Dongriang said Black Mountain mining area was not far. I find someone working out of the mining area on chat, add as a friend, pay a half gold for a coordinate ping, 30 kilometers. Black Mountain it is. I stop stopping for chests and head straight at full throttle. Halfway there the engine feels weak, so I unload dozens of parts on the exchange and pour 20 gold and 35 parts into a level 3 engine upgrade. 2.0 jumps to 3.0, top speed pushing 120, the familiar shove back into the seat returning. The engine drops into a deeper register and the thrust hurls the steel beast forward. Black Mountain rises on the horizon. A long unbroken line of black ridges laid like a sleeping dragon, oppressive and beautiful. As I close, people thicken. Resource-rich zones pull every kind of survivor. Through the window I pick out distinctive vehicles parked along the slopes in broken rock, mostly small trucks flying faction banners, men sweating and swinging pickaxes, the clang of metal on stone everywhere. Iron ore can be smelted into steel sheets or with the right blueprint turned into parts. The hardest job around but the steadiest income. Mostly run by residents. The chat said normal pickaxe in person pulls 5 to 7 gold of ore a day. A fine pickaxe doubles that to 10. Survivors with vehicles hardly mine. They either rest or roll out hunting chests. The whole perimeter is wrapped in barbed wire with one main gate. Guards on it, every vehicle paying a fee first. Only one faction those toll collectors can belong to. The Ghost Dragon Society. I smile. No wonder Black Mountain survivors complain. Monopolizing natural resources tells you exactly how heavy-handed Ghost Dragon runs. I ping my coordinate seller. He tells me Ghost Dragon already controls multiple oil fields, mines, and water sources. Cannot work them all so they charge entry, and once they catch a poacher their handling is ruthless. Only current survival pressure keeps them up. I roll into the mountain itself. Enormous, mostly unworked roads getting worse as I climb. Even the RV's super high chassis and off-road tires force me to ease off and pick lines. The familiar prompt rings. Today's intelligence, finally. I receive. It tells me I have entered the Black Mountain mining area, a place where prospectors made fortunes and adventurers met ends. That roughly 500 meters straight ahead on a mountain face there appears to be a strange geological change different from the rest, which may yield something unusual. The warning is sharp. Do not delve too deep. Once you hear rolling rocks, immediately flee. I steered toward a weed-covered hill rolling back into the range. No different at a glance. Within 200 meters I find traces of recent gunfire across the grass. Several corpses in the weeds. Death's gruesome. Blood still tacky. My face hardens. The intel said run at the first sound of rolling rocks. I roll up to the foot, keep the Gatling in hand, work my eyes. I pick up messy tracks, and where grass meets rock catch a metallic gleam. A bronze chest sunk in the mountain stone, the rock around it gouged with chisel marks. The dead survivors had found it, tried to break it free, then panicked and run, dying dozens of meters off. I pull a fine pickaxe from my pack. Last night's reward worth 10 gold, tip ferociously sharp. I scan once more, see no threat, put my full weight into the swing. With nearly 20 in physique and a fine tool, a fat chunk of rock face caves on the first hit. The moment I move, from the top a low grinding rumble rises, the unmistakable terrifying sound of rolling stone. It really is real. I yank the pickaxe into my pack, snap the Gatling up, and back off, eyes on the crown. A rolling cloud of dust spills, the rockfall building louder. Then a massive body shoulders out at the top, 5 meters tall, charging straight down. A giant stone ball with 4 limbs, no face, only 2 crimson eyes. All the savagery I need to read. The system pulls up the panel, a mountain puppet elite monster, a loyal servant of an ancient mountain god, stripped of self-awareness and operating purely on divine instinct, said to attack with fury anyone who damages the mountain god's body. No wonder those people died. Its 4 limbs scramble down and hurl it at me, but I have already retreated dozens of meters, Gatling leveled, barrels spinning up. Then firepower comes off in a roar, 60 rounds a second tearing out, the body too large to miss. Its rock body shatters in layers, debris spraying like shrapnel. The thing feels no pain, but the volume bleeds the speed out. Within seconds it comes apart inch by inch, head simply gone, huge cracks splitting the torso. Until less than 10 meters from me its 4 limbs snap off and the whole mass slides on momentum and crashes flat, plowing a long muddy trench. I keep firing into the remainder until it is rubble. Under super barrel cooling, the barrels are still effortlessly cool, only thin smoke trailing, as if the Gatling could go another hour. I look at the spent casings carpeting the ground. In that short window, I have put at least 1,000 rounds through it. The kill notification rises. Mountain Puppet Elite Monster down. Plus 2 gold and 1 Mountain Puppet Stone Heart, described as the puppet's hardest rock core usable as forging material for special growth equipment. Another forging material, level 3 restricted trade, currently of immeasurable value. I tuck it away, I walk to the bronze chest, pull the pickaxe, chip after dozens of strikes, free it. A clean metallic snap and rewards roll up. 100 gold coins, 8 C-level talent shards, and 3 B-level talent shards. A gold coin chest and talent shards on top. The haul of materials lighter than last bronze, but 100 solid gold is very pleasant, and on top of it the shards I have been hungry for. The last black iron gave me 6 C-level, these 8 stack to give me 10. I tap talent synthesis. The system tells me C-level talent synthesis is complete, and congratulates me on my second talent, Eagle Eye, at C-level. Eagle Eye is activated by focusing attention on the pupils, multiplying normal vision by 5 and dynamic vision by 10, with a note that using it rapidly consumes stamina. The description calls it a direct upgrade to a physical aiming scope, usable for long-range firearms and close cold weapons, both yielding superhuman performance. A hint follows that a survivor can hold at most 2 talents of the same level. Excess can be broken into shards and traded up to higher level shards at 5-1. A second hint adds every talent can undergo a transcendental awakening, survivors invited to discover that path on their own. The talent locks in and a warm energy runs through my eyes, vision subtly different. I narrow attention down into my pupils and instantly the field sharpens, like focus and resolution have been redone. Every leaf, every shadow, every grain of dust snapping into brighter, clearer color. The world stepping from low quality up to high definition in one beat. But dynamic vision is even crazier. I can pick out the wing beats of a distant bird frame by frame. After maybe 30 seconds, my body begins to drag, the fatigue of having just run a marathon dropping onto me, and I shut it off. My sight returns. I lean on my knees and breathe before I have it back. The bill is harsh but fair. If it did not eat stamina, it would be at least B level, maybe A. With the bronze chest cleared, I look at the messy field and feel unease. My experience here does not actually match the intel. The intel said strange geological changes different from the rest, capable of unearthing some unusual thing. That clearly was not pointing at a chest. I keep working the hill. I search a full hour. Just as I am about to give up, in the corner of a small cave I find a stretch of rock face not like the others. Faint red spiderweb patterns running across the surface. I sharpen up, grab the pickaxe, move on it. The cave runs low, so I bend to push my body in, one hand braced on the outer wall while the other swings, tapping in measured beats. After a few strikes, the outer layer flakes away. A large expanse of dazzling red appeared before my eyes. I stare at the spread of red glowing gemstones, eyes widening. The panel names it a fire spirit stone mine, a scarce vein whose stones fuel fire element talents and gear, with 21 available. A single water spirit stone went for a huge price on chat yesterday, snapped up by the Divine Wind Group leader, and here I have 21 at once. I chip with the iron pickaxe, and within minutes the crystal is hollowed, all 21 warm and thrumming on my palm. They refuse to fit my backpack, so I pocket them. Just as I move to leave, I hear a car. I grab the Gatling and pull back to the RV, spotting 2 off-road vehicles with the black flags of the Ghost Dragon Society. The radio crackles with threats. A scruffy middle-aged man tells me I entered a restricted zone, that I should pay 20 gold or die. The yellow-haired kid gleefully urges Brother Long to gouge me hard. Brother Long tells him to slow down, that the system blocks forced transactions so they will lay out junk and shake me down piece by piece, sneering that driving a big truck into their mountain means I am tired of living. The 2 are the Society's mountain patrol, practiced at extorting lone survivors. When I do not answer, Brother Long pops his sunroof and fires a burst, sparks ringing off armor. I am calmly thumbing armor-piercing rounds into the Barrett, slide into Eagle Eye mode, and the scene sharpens until I can count his nose hairs. I fire without hesitating. His windshield webs into a single spider hole, the round threading windshield. Head, 2 rows of seats, and rear glass. The yellow-haired kid has just floored it alongside. When he sees Brother Long dead, he screams and swings the wheel to flee, but a second armor-piercing round takes the top of his head off through the side. The vehicles fade out, leaving 2 corpses and loose items. Most is junk, but the cannon-shaped gear in the kid's car lights up my eyes. The panel calls it an anti-tank rocket launcher. Full durability, a top-tier weapon of mass destruction, with a standard hint that special class weapons cannot be modified, exchange listed, or traded personally. My second special class after the Barrett. The idiot must have hidden it from the organization, and it benefits me instead. A shame he had no rockets. I will collect those slowly. I haul it into the RV and drive off. Before transmigration, killing 2 men would have shaken me. Now dead people draw only a faint disgust. By 2 in the afternoon, I park at a mountain foot, eat, and explore. Without intel report support, luck is mediocre, and I turn up only a wooden chest, a longsword, and a handful of gold coins and parts across most of the day. Dusk falls early in the mining area. I pick a small hill with steep slope and wide fire, then spend 20 gold and 15 parts upgrading my level 2 off-road chassis. White light raises the chassis 10 centimeters, swaps the suspension to higher grade alloy, upgrades brake calipers to titanium, and the armored RV grinds up the nearly 60-degree slope and parks solidly at the top. The terrain is too cluttered for rescue runs tonight, so I focus on zombies. Chat is buzzing as gear up closes, the gap between players widening, top tier pulling away while ordinary survivors are openly terrified of the night. Vegetable Pig has been pinging me for an hour. Jin Sonen tells me she grew something besides the Lingyan cabbage, a starlight spirit fruit. The panel calls it a rare fruit from the Starry Sky Great Forest, exceptionally rich in spiritual energy, raising constitution by 5 with a 1 per day cap, and granting starlight affinity that stacks an acceleration buff in starlit environments per fruit. She says one of her cultivated fruits mutated last night, that a whole basket is reserved for me. I offer 15 gold and ask her to guarantee daily supply like the Lingyun cabbage. She protests that mutations depend on luck, but swears she will push production even if exhausting. I put her on salary starting tomorrow at 10 gold a day, rising by 2 each day, in exchange for all her produce on custom order. She practically launches off her stone, swearing she loves me. That factory work or farm work she will do anything, declaring herself officially my soldier. We close at 30 gold for 1 starlight spirit fruit, 1 Linyan cabbage, 5 sunshine broccoli, and miscellaneous gifts. I pull the blue devil fruit pattern fruit from inventory, and it explodes sweet and crisp across my tongue, gone before I notice. Then I eat dinner with Lingyun cabbage and sunshine broccoli. Warm energy moves through me. The attribute panel reads Jijang, Ranger title granting Constitution +3, Spirit +3, and 20% additional kill bonus. Constitution at 26.5 with 8.5 from gear. Spirit at 12, accumulated kill bonus 1.32 gold withdrawable. Anytime, bound vehicle armored RV at modification level 13. Talents daily intelligence at SSS rank hidden and unique alongside Eagle Eye at C rank. My constitution already more than double an ordinary person's. A step from the superhuman bracket. I step out and pull Blood of the Moon, the nearly 100-pound crimson blade no longer punishing one-handed, but still rough to swing, and drill with both it and the plain longsword as the night curtain falls. The clock passes 6, and the third night begins. I crack a cola and watch the black mist climb. Terrifying howls roll through the mountains, grotesque shapes appear. I climb out the sunroof and slip into Eagle Eye, the dark snapping into crisp clarity. Besides ordinary zombies and flesh balls, no new types tonight, but the count is half again as high as last night. I tell myself to wait for peak density at 10 to 30 minutes in, when I will pop a noise emitter and pull a real horde. In chat, survivors crow in relief that no new zombies show. Then the tone snaps. Someone names herself Li Ya, vice president of the Ghost Dragon Society, announces that 2 members were murdered in the mining area this afternoon, offers a 2 gold reward for clues, and warns whoever did this will face endless retaliation. Chat drops silent. Outside the top brass at a few huge guilds, almost nobody has the nerve for something that bold. Plenty are quietly delighted at the society's loss, but no one dares goad the lunatics into making them the next example. Even the Mountain and Sea Alliance and the smaller groups that routinely flame the society stay quiet. Stepping out now reads as a declaration, and with the Horde days away, no one can afford a clash. For the society, mishandling this erodes their deterrent. So everyone watches. I watch too. Let them investigate. If I run into more of them tomorrow, I may add to the count. About 10 minutes in, the valleys fill with bodies, numbers genuinely staggering. The broken terrain locks down anyone without high-grade chassis. Many spot the RV and charge to ram it, but the armor is a class above a minivan's and ordinary zombies cannot scratch durability all night, while a flesh ball at full charge scrapes only a faint threat before rolling back halfway up the slope. Half an hour later, with howls saturating the peaks, I fire a noise emitter into a sunken basin down slope. It arcs like a red flare, drops dead center, and punches out an ear-splitting noise rippling outward. The horde roars. Every zombie within a kilometer is pulled toward the sound, and I feel a subtle tremor through the ground. Zombies pile at visible speed into a writhing ball, more streaming in like ants. The mountain of corpses builds, scalp crawling. This is all money. I throw open the sunroof, mount the Gatling, and pull the trigger. Bullets streak like golden meteors, zombies bursting like rotten fruit, notifications cascading at 0.1 gold each, flesh balls at 0.5, more than 10 kills a second. The super barrel cooling lets me feed it the whole way. The surge replaces fallen bodies almost as fast as I tear them down, and I keep spraying until the duration ends. The whale dies and remaining zombies pivot toward me to charge the RV. I grind the climbers into nothing. A half hour later, the last zombie drops. A wide field of dismembered limbs spreads at the foot of the hill, the Gatling's barrel faintly red, but the harvest is unprecedented. Over 1,000 zombies, at least 50 or 60 of them flesh balls. Total gold 392.5. A welfare round. At this pace I will hit tier 3 before the 7th day easily. I still have 1 noise grenade left to spend at peak, but this area is wrung dry, so I roll off the hill onto the gravel road. The rest of the survivor population is not having a welfare round. It is a massacre. Someone screams to be saved, eaten leg first. Another curses that defense has collapsed. A warning says elite monsters must be focus fired immediately or the line breaks. Ju Jin of the Noxan group answers brokenly that after the monster broke their line, he watched it punch through the leader's car door, nail him to the seat back, and tear his spine out. Lee Jong-guk takes the channel and orders the entire Mountain and Sea Alliance to shrink defenses, retreat in good order, and converge on the canyon, telling them elite monsters are rare and not invincible. My expression darkens. I had assumed no new types tonight, and instead elite monsters, fast and strong. The setup inverts what I had with the giant terror centipede and mountain golem. The enemy is hidden. I am exposed. The sunroof stays closed. After 2 kilometers, the road thickens with zombies swarming the RV, but the chassis and engine plow through like a tank. I am still hunting better terrain when a dark shape blurs out of the forest at undefendable speed. The RV takes a side impact, then another with the screech of claws on metal. I grab the Barrett on reflex, then set it down. Counter-sniping through a port is unlikely to land, and a damaged barrel is a net loss. The Gatling's spin-up is too slow. Time to test the blood of the moon. I take the meter-long Scarlet Longblade, walk to the rear firing port, open the smallest hatch, and slip into Eagle Eye. A shadow streaks past and I catch a blurred outline. Information surfaces. Mad zombie, elite monster, a super variant with terrifying speed that pierces ordinary armor, easily mistaken for a common zombie thanks to its withered build, with the chilling note to pray I never meet it on the plains. Defense seems its weak point. The mad zombie keeps slamming the RV, the racket pulling zombies from every direction, and in under 10 seconds the RV is fully ringed. I fire several pistol shots through the second hatch, and the bursts drag the mad zombie in. Several zombies flung aside as it lunges. A withered long arm shoves through the hatch, sharp nails trailing blood. I slash and sever the palm clean off. It roars and tries to yank back, but I reverse the grip into a thrust along its forearm into its neck. The blood of the moon cuts through skin and bone like wet paper. The thrashing transmits force so violently I almost lose grip, and even through dwarf fine armor a swing of its arm lights a deep ache in my flank. The wound widens, I throw my weight into a cutting pull. The cervical spine parts, the head flops, and the body slackens. The panel pings the mad zombie killed for 2 gold and a crazy corpse nail. I drop to the floor on shaking legs, laughing through ragged breaths. First melee kill on an elite monster. Clumsy form, but a rush firearms never give. I touch the bruise on my flank. A top-tier physique in impact-resistant armor dented by a single arm after the palm was severed. Says everything about elite striking power. Outside the RV, a clean hit would open my belly. My body is still too weak. Jin Sonan needs to keep working. I message her and she replies instantly, half teary, telling me chat looks terrifying and to be careful. She has found a tucked away spot where she hides every night. The few zombies that stumble on her cannot crack her armor, and she just holds until past midnight. With her safe, my chest loosens. Half an hour later, I find a highland narrow on top and wide at base, backed by a thick mountain, an excellent defensive position. I sweep the scattered zombies, park and fire a noise emitter at distant ground. The ball lands, waves ripple, the wandering horde ignites and gathers. In eagle eye, I spot a slender black shadow weaving through, plowing through the pile stacking at center. Another mad zombie. This one does not register the noise ball, just opens a slime-streaked fanged mouth, roaring and clawing in place searching for the source. The Barrett would be a cannon on a mosquito, and without ballistic correction it struggles at this range. So I take out the TRG-22 sniper, slide the barrel through the port, chamber around, and line up. The instant the crosshair settles, the mad zombie snaps its head toward me. Killing intent perception, I think, and pull the trigger. The round crosses 800 meters, punches through its eye, blows a wide hole out the back of its skull. The body sways, charges the RV anyway, stumbles on bad balance, and 2 more shots blow its head fully apart. The panel pings a second mad zombie down for 2 gold. No forging materials this time. Elite monsters do not always drop loot. The noise ball keeps pulling and the pile builds spectacular. A third mad zombie rushes in. I react faster and rip several shots in a tight burst, its head bursting like a watermelon before it has time to breathe. The panel pings the third for 2 gold and a crazy corpse snail. 3 elite monsters tonight and no more show. The numbers really are scarce. I open the sunroof and switch to burst kill mode, the Gatling roaring, turning the corpse mountain to minced meat for another 300 plus gold. 2 waves of super mowing, nearly 800 gold combined. It does not get fatter than this. The Gatling's durability has dropped to 37% and will not last much longer. I searched the exchange's infinite durability section, still empty. It is close to 11 and without noise, ball's efficiency is too low to burn Gatling durability. I am sitting on 800 plus gold, an actual super rich man, and the urgent question is how to spend it. My gaze drifts to the vehicle options menu, a faint smile coming to my mouth. Time for a comprehensive upgrade. I run inventory. 831 and 3/10 gold. The tier 3 heavy machine gun. Tier 2 sniper. A rifle, 2 pistols, longsword dagger, 700 universal ammo. Normal grade dwarf fine armor. Excellent grade iron pickaxe. A machete, 421 parts. 121 steel sheets. 92 leather. 1 rare armor core. 1 giant terror pincers. 1 mountain puppet stone heart. 2 crazy corpse nails. 35 fresh fruit. 10 venison, 29 high-grade bread, 18 instant food, and 4 C-grade plus 4 B-grade talent fragments. Personal attributes can wait. Jin Sonan is still my best supplier, so I reserve 200 coins for her. Weapons are fine between Gatling, Barrett, and Blood of the Moon with only infinite durability missing, so 100 more goes there. The remaining 500 pours into the RV. Exterior armor goes first since the inherited level 1 plate cannot handle what is coming. At 80 gold, 65 parts, and 100 steel sheets, about 170 total. I confirm and white light sweeps the shell, replacing rivets with sleek matte black plating clean as a sculpture. The tier 1 all-terrain tires are scratch thin, so I spend 2 gold and 1 leather on a fresh set plus spares, then 20 gold and 10 leather on the tier 2 unlock. Multifunctional super tires auto-adjusting tread and load to terrain. The chassis takes 50 gold and 35 parts to level 3, the engine 45 gold and 60 parts to level 4, since hardware is not somewhere to cut corners. When I fire at the 4.0 displacement engine, top speed 160 kilometers an hour, lets out a deep heavy roar with real kick, and the RV is essentially an armored tank without a cannon. Inside the cabin, I push toward the level 50 threshold for tier advancement. The air conditioner takes 15 gold for a level 2 central system. The refrigerator gets upgraded for full storage, and 50 gold buys a folding photovoltaic roof panel that generates by day and retracts at night. The next tier would integrate the panel into the exterior armor for 200 gold, which I dismiss on sight. The last big upgrade goes to the radar, since the old millimeter wave radar tripped on mad zombies at night. The level 2 first path, a millimeter wave targeting radar with a 500-meter threat radius linked to autonomous machine gun fire, costs 100 gold, 85 parts, and a level 1 chip. After this, it is basically an automatic turret. I mutter, since mounting infinite bullets Gatling with infinite durability would make the roof a defense tower that never runs dry, but it is too expensive for now, so I hope to land infinite durability tomorrow. I top the tank, and the panel reports the tier 2 heavy armored RV at 160 kilometers per hour. Durability 100%, 10.5 units of fuel for about 1,575 kilometers. Shooting compartment and roof gun locked as unupgradable. Engine level 4, chassis level 3, air conditioner level 2, exterior armor level 2, power generation level 2, millimeter wave radar level 1. Total 18. Advancement asks 1500 gold, 400 parts, 5000 steel sheets, 100 alloy, and 1 armor core, sealed until every upgradable part hits level 50. Past midnight by the time I finish. The zombies outside have drifted away, so I run a night patrol hoping for another luminous treasure box, but luck does not hold, and by 2 in the morning I shower and crash. The 4th day arrives with the clear sky gone and the air heavy under murky overcast. The system pushes heavy fog at 27 to 38 degrees, unsuitable for travel, warning that terrifying monsters from Twilight Canyon wander out in this weather. I frown, since visibility under 10 meters is a headache after days of clear hunting, and the temperature climbed instead of dropped. Chat is full of the same complaints. The regional survivor count crashed to just over 70,000 after a brutal night where many groups were almost wiped by mad zombies. Voices curse the fog, complain about the muggy heat, urge each other to upgrade air conditioners, describe mad zombies tearing into defenses, and remind everyone only 3 days remain until the zombie horde. I draft a procurement message for forging materials, armor-piercing bullets, rocket-propelled grenades, and infinite durability, then drive out. Most replies are scattered batches of 3 or 4 armor-piercing rounds I cannot be bothered to drive for, except one full batch of 10 rocket-propelled grenades I close at 15 gold and a clean neutral meat. Finally bringing the rocket launcher online, and making my long-range stack of armor-piercing Barrett, RPG and infinite bullets Gatling top tier for any player, enough to contend with creatures above elite. The fog hides every chest, so I cruise the plains hoping intel triggers. Around noon, a surprising private message from a handle Haju Shung, reading as a woman offers several forging materials, and a hot weapon infinite durability modification never on the exchange. She prices against infinite bullets minus a third at 140 gold, and after a sharp haggle we settle at 95 for the modification, and 10 each for 3 forging materials. Offline trade. We are only 10 kilometers apart, and I keep vigilance high, since anyone pulling 3 forging materials this fast either solo killed 3 elite monsters, or is moving stock for a larger group. I reach the meet in 10 minutes, hit hazard lights, and stay in the cabin watching. A motorcycle exhaust cuts in. A young woman in fingerless gloves, leather jacket, and hot pants rolls up on a big bike, ponytail whipping, cold blank face giving an aura that keeps everyone at arm's length. I fire Eagle Eye to read her threat, and she feels it instantly. Face turning more wary as she diagonal drifts to a stop and asks through her intercom how I want to trade. Her voice is pleasant but as cold as her expression, her ride less a motorcycle than a 2-wheeled high-tech vehicle. Clearly upgraded, and instead of firearms she carries cold weapons on her person and in the rack, marking her as combat talent and probably the strongest lone wolf I have seen in days. I tell her to drop the materials and back off 100 meters. She agrees flatly, drops them, mounts up, and pulls back. I confirm with Eagle Eye, transfer 30 gold, and she drives off without another word the moment her balance updates. I think she really is rude, but I send a friend request after her receding figure, not for her looks but because she radiates the aura of a strong player and will surface with more good items later. She accepts. I tell her I always buy forging materials and to bring me any good items, and her flat acknowledgement kills the conversation. Minutes later she messages on her own asking how I have so much money, and I think this big sister has no manners and reply that it fell from the sky. She misses the sarcasm and offers to be hired the next time I have trouble I cannot solve, for the right reward. I push back asking whether she can really solve my problems, and she says she is very strong. I can only marvel at the arrogance, more than even me, and close the chat. On her end, Haju Zong has stopped her vehicle with arms crossed and head tilted in proud expectation, waiting. Minutes pass with nothing. Her brows tighten. She types asking why I read it and did not reply, then deletes it, irritated, wondering aloud whether I am looking down on her. Just then a zombie lunges from the fog at her motorcycle with a feral howl. A streak of light flashes, its head separates mid-lunge, and a dozen more streaks pour from her side, weaving around the corpse and warping at high speed until the body is minced flesh, then flying back to hover silently at her side. A swarm of prismatic flying blades. She lets out a contemptuous snort, drops the gear, and her silhouette on the Tier 2 ghost vehicle vanishes into the fog. I have parked by a stream with the pump and hose to refill, and while I wait I mount the Gatling onto the base and apply the infinite durability modification, watching the durability tick from 37% to infinite. True infinite bullets at last. I move on to the targeting radar, buying a level 1 chip and spending 100 gold in materials. The system chimes that the radar has upgraded, then asks a follow-up having detected the machine gun now possesses the 3 essentials of a true defensive turret. Infinite bullets, infinite durability, and super barrel cooling, asking whether to bind the radar to the mount and warning that after binding the gun cannot be disassembled. I click my tongue, a little pained that I cannot drag the Gatling into dungeons anymore, but there is no having both, so I confirm. The whole mount shifts, every detachable part and the gun body merging into the roof armor, the new base sprouting electronic components for full 360-degree rotation. The detail panel registers a level 1 machine gun turret with infinite bullets, paired with radar for automatic targeting. The first upgrade path is the close-in weapon system, scaling to a larger caliber at 200 rounds per second, with massive lethality against large creatures. At 500 gold, 100 parts, 1500 steel sheets. The second is the flamethrower turret, converting to a focused flame turret using fuel and heavy oil to spray napalm out to 200 meters with ultra-high temperature adhesive burn, locking the turret into the flame path forever. At 350 gold, 100 parts, 50 heavy oil, 50 fuel. Once the vehicle hits Tier 3, anti-aircraft gun, laser cannon, and other turret routes will unlock. Both routes leave my head numb, since both are genuinely powerful and genuinely expensive. Last night's 800 plus gold has shrunk to just over 200, and I feel the powerlessness of being poor all over again. Time to make money, I sigh, buying lunch from the exchange. Bad news drops from Jin Sonen, who tells me the fog and missing sunlight have slowed her plans to a stop, apologizing with a crying emoticon. I tell her it is fine. The public channel is wall-to-wall complaints, and many survivors have abandoned chest hunting to gather in mining areas and forests for steady income, dropping raw material prices while firearm ammunition has ticked up. Voices curse the fog as infuriating, complain about the near 40-degree afternoon, warn that monsters in the fog have killed people without a single message of warning. The Battlefield Alliance has announced that all members must leave in teams, since solo runs are death sentences. I have no clean answer for this weather, so I steel myself and keep cruising. The painful piece is the photovoltaic panel cannot generate without sunlight, so I am burning fuel to run the targeting radar in central air, almost doubling my fuel rate. Strangely, the daytime zombie count has dropped and the radar barely triggers. Just as I start to wonder, a large red dot pops and the roof gun erupts into a furious 3-second burst. The muzzle tracking a ghostly shape, impacts hitting wet flesh, and a kill notification slides in for one missed corpse at 1 gold. The new daytime species the others warned about, half an elite monster's value, a surprisingly rich payout, even though on foot exploration today would be too dangerous. I keep cruising the fog-blanketed plain hoping intel triggers. The drift carries me past 3 in the afternoon, when the ground turns muddy and the tires sink by a third, and I wonder if I have circled back to the swamp area. As I enter the special terrain, the small red dots multiply into a dense cluster. Snakes, insects, and small swamp creatures, the roof gun starts cracking off precise single shots. These rarely yield gold, with the occasional juvenile blood python only worth 1/10, so I switch off auto-attack to avoid drawing attention. Just over 2 hours left until dark, whether I trigger intel rides on this run. I swap to quieter mud tires, pull the sniper, and creep forward. The RV handles the shallow swamp without threat of getting stuck, and I take the occasional adult blood python or larger swamp creature with careful sniper shots. Half an hour in, the intel chime asks whether I want today's intel, and I tell it yes twice. The report opens with a danger warning, that I am about to enter the territory of a terrifying giant creature 500 meters ahead, that any vehicle below Tier 3 should not venture in, with the usual teaser that fortune favors the bold. The little secret is that starting 300 meters directly ahead, swamp depth jumps from half a meter to 10 meters, and during the dry season, mysterious white light has been seen flashing from cracks in the mud. Mysterious white light has to be a silver treasure chest. My breathing speeds up, since I have only ever found wooden, black, iron, and bronze chests, and the 4th tier prize has finally surfaced. I cannot afford to provoke the terrifying creature, which rules out the Gatling and Barrett and leaves only the sniper quiet enough. I creep forward at 15 kilometers an hour until the mud climbs to half the wheel hubs and stop. I pick off the dozens of red dots one by one, with the sniper half an hour spent. And with the area clear, I spend 10 gold on a full diving kit and oxygen tanks, then 12 more on a silenced Desert Eagle I slip into my waistband next to the dagger, leaving Blood of the Moon behind since its weight would drag me down. I push through knee-deep swamp water, mud thinning into a viscous pool as the swamp deepens. Then I switch on the headlamp, though the water is so turbid even a strong beam buys less than half a meter of visibility, the silence broken only by my breathing bubbles. The dive runs a full hour. I sweep tirelessly across the silt and find nothing, so I steel myself and shut off the lamp, plunging into suffocating darkness, telling myself I will swim blind despite the psychological pressure, and I keep combing inch by inch. My oxygen runs out and I am about to surface to swap tanks when a faint glow blooms in the water ahead. I kick hard toward it, and a silver glowing treasure chest comes into view in the silt, its intricate patterns shimmering like a sunken treasure on the seabed. With oxygen dry, I hold my breath, grab the chest, kick hard for the surface, break out and gulp air, dragging the chest back to the shallows. I throw it onto the bank and collapse, exhausted and filthy but grinning. The sky is fully dark, so I haul it to the RV, strip the diving suit, shower clean, and switch on the air conditioner. It is already 7 in the evening and night fell an hour ago without my noticing, and I tell myself I got lucky this was a swamp with no zombies, because surfacing soaked into a fight would have been a nightmare. I look down at the exquisite chest on the floor, silver patterns glowing on the lid, the system tagging it as a silver treasure chest, and asking whether I am ready to become a powerful figure. My heart pounds, this being my first chest at this tier, and I lift the lid. A crisp note rings out and the drops scroll past. 200 gold, 300 parts, 10 alloy, 10 disposable forging devices, 1 melee weapon modification called Super Edge Sharpening, 1 precious grade cicada wing armor, 5 B-level talent shards. My eyes go wide. I focus first on the alloy, the disposable forging device, and the cicada wing armor. The system describes alloy as a very expensive high-tier vehicle part upgrade material obtained when a blacksmith smelts steel sheets, and the disposable forging device is a one-time unit into which growth-type equipment and forging materials are placed for one forging. Alloy is key for further vehicle upgrades, and the forging device means I can forge weapons myself now, which I had wanted for days. The cicada wing armor is precious grade on a scale of common, fine, rare, precious, secret treasure, legendary, epic, and mythical, at full durability, woven from the wings of a king-level creature called the adult void cicada. Light as a feather and tough as steel, resisting almost all ordinary firearms and most melee weapons below precious grade. Its exclusive skill, Ethereal Form, sends the body transparent for 10 seconds, during which it is immune to any physical attack and can fly freely, with a 1-day cooldown resettable for 10 gold, doubling on every reset within the same day. I take a sharp breath, since a 10-second invincibility skill means I am taking off. The armor feels impossibly soft, like light gauze, almost weightless, meant to be worn inside. I strip my shirt and put it on directly, the design covering upper body, lower body, and neck without any pinch, then pull my outer clothes back over, draw a deep breath, and activate Ethereal Form. A faint flapping note rings out, and I look down to find I cannot see my hands, feet, or body, my whole form gone into a transparent void. I grab the hilt of Blood of the Moon and the blade slides into the ethereal state with me, which tells me I cannot attack with a weapon since the blade vanishes too, and my only play is to ambush after I reappear. I touch the car body and the RV stays solid, meaning only items I can pick up come with me. I focus and try to float, the lift coming as easily as walking, body rising on the first try, the feeling intoxicating. I laugh, throw open the car door and shoot out into the night. Even ethereal, I can still feel wind and smell air, though flight speed seems tied to physique and caps at about 30 kilometers an hour. I sweep back and forth several stories up. Then the state cuts out midair and I drop, slapping into the mud, covered in grime as I drag myself up half laughing. Back in the RV, scrubbed clean a second time. I sit with the feeling still in my chest. The cicada wing armor is my strongest life-saving trump card, not only for the 10-second invincibility, but for the resettable cooldown, which means as long as I have gold I can extend the window again and again, so I have the conditions to explore high-risk dungeons. With this chest open, my B-level talent shard count has hit 9, just one shy of synthesizing my first B-level talent. Bronze chests can drop B-rank talent shards, so I make those my priority. Past 7, the swamp has gone unnaturally quiet. Chat is full of survivors griping that ordinary corpses are scarce, and only Mist Corpse shows up. An informed voice explains the large groups have announced the fog as the cause, since Mist Corpse only spawns in fog, and as long as no one leaves their vehicle, the night should pass safely. Smaller complaints about heat, one bragging about running his AC full blast, another pointing out a single unit of fuel costs 10 gold, a whole day's wage in the mining area. I might as well sleep early, except I have not eaten, and my appetite has roughly doubled since Constitution shot up. Jin Sonan has pinged me about a new mutated fruit, the Mist Treasure Fruit, a special mutation born from a rare fruit soaking in fog dew energy, raising Constitution by 10 with a 1 per week cap and granting a permanent healing buff that speeds wound recovery and grants immunity to the fog's breathing and dizziness debuffs. I tell her she did great work and is getting a raise. She opens a trade, but the fruit refuses to transfer, panicking her until I explain special fruits work like special guns, so we go offline. She is too scared to leave the Starry Sky Great Forest, so I tell her to send coordinates and I will come instead, and she does, warning me to be careful. I am over 200 kilometers out, but the night is dead, so I treat the run as a trip. I have only been to the Black Mountain mining area among the named regions, and the Starry Sky Great Forest is supposedly larger and richer, dangerous enough that no one has reached its true depths. The RV hits the plane. I push to 100 kilometers an hour, and the auto-targeting radar keeps things lively, gunning down mist cores, enough to cover fuel. The one-time forge comes back to mind, and when I pull one out, the alloy furnace fills both front seats and nearly crushes me, so I shove it back. I switch on cruise control, walk to the living area, and set the forge down. I load Blood of the Moon and a crazy corpse nail, start the cycle, and the deep red light with a 10-minute countdown ends in a successful forge for 7% progress. Only 7, I think, disappointed, before going again. For the next hour, I drive and forge in parallel. All 5 crazy corpse nails add 7% each. The mountain puppet stone heart pushes the bar 10% in one cycle. Curious about the strongest material on hand, I load the giant terror pincers, and halfway through the red light burns gold instead. The timer resets, and the chime announces a lucky critical hit, a forging great success. Blood of the Moon gaining 26% for a total of 71. Even having the bonus is roughly 2 crazy corpse nails of progress. A few more materials tomorrow will push it to precious artifact grade, unlocking its own exclusive skill like the cicada wing armor. Back at the wheel, the starry sky great forest still tens of kilometers off, the grass thickening taller than a person, the armored RV mowing like a harvester, the green wall swallowing the windshield. A special terrain zone. I turn to detour, and just as I swing the wheel, a rustling erupts behind me. A huge red dot blooms on the radar, and the roof gun whips around and opens up. The noise stirs the whole grass sea. The radar floods with dense red dots, mostly creatures too small to drop coins, but so many the perimeter glows red. A heavy droning of wings follows, palm-sized locusts boiling up in a black mass. I slam to 120 kilometers an hour, but the swarm catches me, burying the windshield and grinding mandibles against plating. The armor holds, the original minivan would have been chewed apart. The heavy gun finally drops the largest red dot, a juvenile corpse mantis at elite rank, 2 gold and 1 mantis blade. A juvenile already counted as elite, which makes me dread the deeper grass. The locusts peel off as the RV picks up speed, and bypassing the grass sea costs a full hour. I push on, stopping twice at monster-dense pockets, and burning both noise bombs. The hauls are smaller than I hoped, 42 and 35 gold, but with auto-targeting picking off stragglers I clear over 100 coins. By 11 I roll up to the outskirts of the starry sky great forest. The fog is mostly burned off, the view is clear. A vast magnificent forest reaching a horizon, roots tangled across the floor, canopy stacked into the sky, some trees and cauliflower umbrellas, others piercing the clouds thousands of meters up, starlight pouring over ancient woods through lingering mist. The grass here is short and soft like a green carpet, and around the bases of great trees survivor groups are camped, vehicles parked side by side, people gathering mushrooms and wild greens, lighting cook fires, smelting iron, like indigenous settlers in another world. Past the outer rim, the population thins because large wild beasts keep most people away. The marker is a secluded little canyon ringed by huge mountains, dense brush, small waterfalls cascading into a singing spring. I ping I have arrived and ask where she is, and she chirps the same back, earning a beat of silence before I clarify I am outside by the waterfall. She tells me to follow the hollow of a big tree on the left, but a driver has to take the path around the mountain base. I detour and find an overgrown passage, a maze of huge fallen rocks, several turns before a path leads inside, but the RV is far too large to thread, so I park and walk. Past the obstacles, the landscape opens into a wide hidden grotto, lush grass spread with flowers, vegetable patches in the central clearing, a clear pond fed by a waterfall whose mist throws a faint rainbow under starlight and moonlight. A hidden paradise. I spot a chopped chili fish head RV in a far corner, and beside it under a small lean-to a girl is chopping vegetables. Hair pulled into a neat ponytail, white t-shirt with a cartoon Pikachu, loose jeans rolled to the knees, bare feet on the grass. She pings to ask if I have come in, and I call out from behind. She turns, waves cheerfully, then stiffens because she is still holding the knife and quickly puts it down with an awkward cough. The online buyer and supplier meet offline. She is visibly nervous, ears tinged red, and introduces herself as Jin Sonan. Pleased to meet me. I tell her not to be that formal. She twirls her fingers and lets out the exact silly little laugh I had imagined every time she typed it. She tells me she was making a vegetable salad since she had nothing presentable, asking me not to mind. After traveling on almost nothing, I swallow at the dishes on the table. She brings a basket of vegetables, mostly sunshine broccoli and aquatic eggplant since the fog killed the rest, but on top sits a translucent light blue fruit, and she beams, says she has cultivated several new seedlings today, and promises a garden tour after dinner. I open a trade and transfer 60 gold for fruit, vegetables, and wages, and her eyes spark. She almost jumps thanking me loud enough to startle birds. I tell her to keep it up and she will be well rewarded. She snaps to attention and swears she will be the boss's good ox and horse working overtime, so the boss can drive a Bentley, and I ask where she picked up the nonsense. She sticks her tongue out and says it is a meme, and I tell her to just eat because her boss is starving. We sit on small stools. With no lingyun cabbage today, I make the mist treasure fruit the main dish with sunshine broccoli. My constitution jumps 10.5 at once, warmth spreading enough that I sweat. Both buffs settle, my breathing fresher with fog drag gone. To test healing, I nick my finger with the dagger, white blood, and watch the cut visibly scab over. 10 seconds later, a faint itch builds. I rub at it, the scab flakes off to leave smooth skin. My heart trembles at how strong the effect is as a long-term buff. Looking at Jin Sonan's happy smile, I feel awkward, because 60 gold suddenly feels like nothing. After the meal, Jin Sonan drags me on a garden tour, introducing her second, third, and fourth treasures like prized children. She solemnly presents her vehicle Big Treasure, warning me not to let its plain look fool me, because it is a real ghost vehicle now and small zombies cannot scratch it. I give her a thumbs up. When she asks where my vehicle is, I say it is parked outside because it is too big. She insists the path is plenty wide, teases me with two cute dimples about my driving, and I tell her she will see. At the outer passage, I point at the colossal armored RV, 5.2 meters tall, 4.3 wide, 8 long, seamless super armor, Gatling on the roof, ultra-high chassis, oversized tires, and ask how exactly I am supposed to thread that through. She stares for a long moment, then stammers whether this is really my vehicle, since from a distance she had thought it was a truck, and trucks are already top tier. She asks if it has a bed, bathroom, kitchen, and I confirm all of it plus AC and refrigerator. She trails off almost in tears with envy, asking why the gap is this wide when everyone started equal, while she sleeps in her seat. I pat her shoulder and ask if she has a dream. She sniffles and says she does. I tell her if she works hard it will not be long before she owns one of these, and a big house, that we will fence off land by the sea, build a villa, give her 10,000 acres of fertile land for whatever she wants to plant, and when she is tired she will lie on a beach chair with iced watermelon juice and watch the sunset. She raises 3 fingers and swears she will not be lazy from this day forward, and I tell her that is the spirit. Deep into the night I head back to the RV to rest while Jin Sonan waters and fertilizes her patch. Before 6 I wait to dawn breaking through forest fog, woken by heat because I left the AC off, drenched as if pulled from water. I wash, crack 2 bottles of cola. The weather panel updates with a high temperature warning. Sunny day, range 31 to 55 degrees Celsius. Cloudless skies, land creature activity dropping while plant activity climbs. 55 stops me cold, more outrageous than yesterday's fog. I walk into the canyon and find Jin Sonan already at her patch in a bamboo hat, sweat pulling at her. She tells me cheerfully that breakfast is on the table. I eat a little, pull the dwarf vine armor from my backpack, and hand it to her. She looks bewildered and asks what it is, and I tell her it is the armor I used before, that it is hers, that she can sell it if she does not want it. I add that I am leaving, that she needs to be careful, and that she should stop if it gets too hot. I wave goodbye and turn away, and she holds the armor watching my retreating back, her nose suddenly sore. Back at the RV, I crank the AC, then remember the photovoltaic panels. A button on the console starts a motor on the roof. The folded panels rise from the exterior armor and spread out, converting solar power and blocking heat into the cabin. The low power state lifts, and the central AC blows out a 16-degree breeze. I slump on the sofa a few minutes to let the chill dry sweat before returning to the wheel. I have 2 goals today: earn more gold and grind chests for shards to finish my first B-rank talent. The 7th day horde is only 2 days away, and I am still nowhere close to tier 3. The chat channel is wall-to-wall misery, people screaming about 40 degrees in the morning and the climb still to come, warning each other not to skimp on AC fuel even though a unit has shot to 14 gold. Someone urges everyone to rush oil fields and find an alchemist talent to refine crude into fuel. Another curses him for blurting it out. Others note the Black Mountain mining area will probably kill plenty to heat stroke today, and one wistful voice wishes for a cold cola, just 1 sip, while another laughs at him for thinking this world has refrigerators. I freeze. Then my eyes light up, because a clean way to make money has just walked into my lap. The business barely needs capital, since I already have a refrigerator and electricity. All I need is cola. The exchange price has nudged up, but is normal. A case of 24 cans for about 3 gold. And barely past 6 it will only climb. So I buy 20 cases and stack them in the living area. My fridge holds 90 liters, but I upgrade it since I am chasing tier 3 anyway. 25 gold and materials push it to level 2 at 215 liters. More efficient. I unseal 10 cases and pack both freezer and fresh keeping compartments. The fresh keeping side temporary since cola tastes best between 5 and 8 degrees. Satisfied, I return to the wheel. Pushing deeper, the outer reaches of the starry sky great forest are tangled terrain few vehicles can drive. Barely any zombies but plenty of wild beasts and raptors. After an hour I have turned up only 2 wooden chests and 20 gold. Wooden chests no longer interest me. The path eventually becomes impassable. I check the cicada wing panel and confirm ethereal form is usable again. The cooldown apparently resetting at dawn rather than running a 24-hour timer, which is reassuring. I park the RV in a sunny clearing, so the panels absorb properly. Kit out with Barrett, TRG-22, Desert Eagle, Dagger, and Blood of the Moon, and step out on foot. I considered the RPG but rejected it as bad for portability. With my increased constitution, my stamina is better and my movements come quiet and agile, almost like Qigong, at least not alerting local beasts at speed. I scale obstacles smoothly and press deeper. Before long, I spot a black iron chest on a high branch, dozens of meters up. I buy climbing claws and shimmy up. The chest opens with a chime. 13 gold, 100 steel sheets, 1,000 universal bullets, a fine-grade handheld drill, and a cold weapon modification, lightweight. I process the haul from the branch. Bullets split into 10 lots of 100 at 2 gold each for 20 gold. The handheld drill is the oil field extraction tool at peak demand, up to 25 gold on the exchange, and since the weather flips constantly, the price will not climb further. So I list at market and it sells instantly. The lightweight modification I apply to Blood of the Moon, the weight on my back dropping noticeably. I lean against the trunk and pop 2 cans of cola, because the heat plus climbing is wearing even me down. Looking up, I spot a reddish fruit at the tip of a higher branch. Curious, I activate Eagle Eye. Kiwi, rare fruit, growing in the outer reaches, mildly toxic to anyone with constitution under 30. After consumption raises constitution by 0.5 and spirit by 0.1. A rare fruit that raises spirit on top of constitution, with no daily limit. Essentially a launch ramp. I climb to the trunk next to it, but the kiwi sits at the very tip where my weight would snap the branch. So I draw the desert eagle, key on Eagle Eye, and clip the branch off with a precise shot. The kiwi tumbles into the weeds. I scan the canopy and find a second, then a third, picking them off. The yield is thin, only 13 after stripping the tree clean. I climb down and trace the line the fruits fell along, bagging them until I am drenched and breathing hard. A little past 10 and the forest sits at 47 or 48 degrees, a giant steamer my physique cannot take much longer. 2 energy drinks and half an hour later I am back inside the RV, stepping out of hell into the human world. I pull a bottle of cola so frozen it smokes white vapor, hiss it open, and let the cold rush from heels to crown. Iced cola really is the god of summer. Still damp under the AC, I open the chat channel since the new batch is chilled long enough to list. The exchange tags every food by status, raw, cooked, room temperature, heated, or expired, so anything specially conditioned stands out. I list 100 cans at 5 degrees for 3 gold each, with a note calling it a luxury beverage with high refrigeration cost, then drop the same ad into public chat. The chat had already been an avalanche of heatstroke misery, and the post detonates it. The first wave is pure disbelief and outrage. Voices calling robbery, asking if blowing on warm cola counts as iced, swearing to roast me alive if the temperature is over 20 degrees. Within seconds it flips as people open the exchange and find real 5-degree cola. Panic buying starts, ice-tight talent claims fly, the stack drops by 50 in a blink, and a final whale confirms it is gone in under 20 seconds. One cool head sums it up, that I priced it like a Rolex or Hermes of the new world, aimed at the rich, not at people pooling 3/10 of a coin for a sip. 300 gold land. My inbox blooms into a red 99 plus. Guilds asking for 5 cans. A model offering one of those videos. A student begging a discount. A manager of the Battlefield Alliance's first guild asking for 20 bottles and friendship. I post another announcement. No offline orders. 5-degree gone. 12-degree listing in 1 minute at 2 gold per can. Next batch in about 4 hours. I pull every cola from fresh keeping. 139 after the one I drank. Hold back 9 and list 130 at 2 coins. Sold out in half a second, 260 gold credited. Faster than killing zombies. Scalpers resell at inflated prices and still move instantly. Demand silencing complaints and quietly cementing iced cola as a brand. I will not raise the price. Scalpers are part of a reputation and bumping the number would drain the pond and ruin my name. The money is invisible upfront investment, since almost no one with a tier 2 vehicle picked the extreme heavy-duty route. Almost no one starting from a broken minivan committed to it against the disadvantage. And almost no one then stacked tier 2 power generation and refrigerator on top. I may be the only person in the region sitting on all of it. Solid technical barriers. I start lunch with Jinsonen's vegetables washed and chopped, the kiwi fruits plated, and cooked meats. Partway in, I remember I never sent her cola, and find her message from 2 hours ago saying the sunlight is excellent and the harvest will be great. I trade her a few bottles and several packed portions, and she accepts joyfully, asking me to wait for a surprise. Her trade comes back with 4 ice blue tomato-shaped fruits beaded with water. The panel calls them cooling fruit, a high-grade fruit of the starry sky great forest that can only bear by absorbing huge amounts of nutrients and water under intense sunlight. Sweet and rich, releasing within 1 hour a strong cooling sensation that drops body and surface temperature, perfect for outdoor labor in scorching weather. With noon coming and 50 degrees outside, the timing is a gift. I praise her until she goes to her own lunch. I clear my plates and eat all 13 kiwi as after-dinner fruit, and the panel adds a clean 6.5 to physique, less massive than yesterday's missed treasure fruit but solid. This time with an increase to the mental attribute as well. The 1 3/10 of a point sharpens my senses and brightens my energy. Comfortable and subtle, as if my soul itself is grown. Once physique reaches a certain level, mental may be the next road. I nap briefly, gather gear, and step into a wall of heat that films my skin instantly. I eat a cooling fruit and the oppressive weight eases, not ice but mint, radiating from inside. I do not charge straight in. I pick a tree several hundred meters tall, hook on my grappling line, and climb. When my head breaks the foliage, the wind pushes the canopy below in rolling green waves, and ahead stretches a boundless ancient forest, folded like a mysterious scroll. At the edge of my vision, among impossibly tall, hazy divine trees, stands the giant shadow of a creature too far for even Eagle Eye to identify. Compared to it, I am not even a mosquito. I sweep the nearer forest and pick the most promising route, also the most dangerous. With kiwi boost and cooling fruit effect, I move noticeably faster. But danger climbs. Before 2 kilometers, I am hit by brown bears, tigers, gorillas, none docile, each twice the size of their blue star counterparts. all worth half a gold each. Handguns are not enough, so I switch to the sniper for long-range headshots, and when one with a thick enough skull closes, I draw Blood of the Moon. My physique is above 44 times an ordinary human, enough to pull off a Wusong fights the tiger on Jingyang Ridge back on Blue Star. But here any tiger can be 5 or 6 meters and over 2 tons. I dare close quarters thanks to the cicada wing armor, impenetrable and dissipating impact, and Blood of the Moon, razor sharp with level 2 super edge sharpening, severing a massive head in one stroke. Once comfortable, I put the sniper away and stick to blade work to sharpen close range awareness. Less than 2 kilometers in, I meet my first elite monster. Resting against a tree root with a cola, I look up to find branches moving, a massive hand of twisted vines and limbs, and lunge as it slams down where I was. A blow that would have folded me in 3. Roots tear up into walking vine feet. A pair of murky eyes opens at the top of the trunk, pupils glowing crimson. The panel labels it a treant, elite monster, an ancient race of the outskirts whose ancestors guarded the mythical forest before being exiled, able to live up to 10,000 years, often forgetting themselves into deep sleep, generally not aggressors but pursuing anyone who wakes them without end. The thing holds a grudge that hard. It lumbers at me again and I roll sideways as the ground jolts, clumsy for all its size. Sniper up, eagle eye on, 2 precise shots blind it. It goes berserk, flailing, more shots like firing into a wooden stake, until I spot a red lump on its chest with fine threads radiating like blood vessels. The Barrett puts one armor-piercing round through the lump, the kinetic energy punching a bowl-sized hole, and the treant freezes and topples in a cloud of leaves and dust. The system credits 1 treant kill, 2 gold, 1 treant heart, another forging material. A notification chimes that today's intel has triggered. Strange since I have been in this area a while. Maybe the fighting pulled monsters in. I confirm. The intel slaps me with a high-risk warning that my gunfire has alarmed the terrifying creature on the outskirts, that 5 kilometers to my southeast it is already advancing in my direction, and that I must avoid it. But, it adds, within that dangerous area mysterious colorful light often flows, and maybe, if I have the courage, I could go and see. My pupils snap tight on colorful light. If the thing is already coming my way, I can use it as a diversion and raid its lair while it is gone. I throw the Barrett into a bush, pack everything else away, keep only Blood of the Moon, and spend 45 gold on 3 stacks of lightweight pushing the blade to its cap at level 5. The weight on my back lifts. I press my ear to the dirt and feel the rhythmic thumping of something giant running and leaping, very close. I cut into the woods on a roundabout route, weaving wide around the giant. Undergrowth too dense to sprint, so I leap up, catch a hanging vine, and swing tree to tree like a monkey, an exhilarating soaring pace. The rumbling is unmistakable. We pass a few hundred meters apart and I stop deliberately, eagle eye on, catching a massive dark shadow flashing by with overwhelming force. The tremors cover my noise, so I move at full speed. 4 kilometers, 3, 2, then my face falls because the thing is turned around. How is it that fast? But going back empty-handed is not on the table. If I face it, I face it. I have etherealization. With a landmark I follow the giant's trail of broken vines, snapped trees, and meter-high weeds trampled into mud as part of massive footprints. The aura is so heavy even snakes, rats, and venomous insects have fled. The trail ends at a canyon, not large but ringed by shocking piles of bones and meter-tall mounds of dung, the pressure inside thick. The thing is a giant ape 30 meters tall, jet black fur as thick as steel needles, gnarled muscles laced with hideous scars, 2 sharp lower fangs, murderous gaze glowing with embers. The panel pops up on its own, an adult war ape, relic species, super monster, descendant of the war ape clan that scattered across the eternal continent as wanderers after the mythical war, bloodline diluted but still dominant. My first sight of anything above elite, and a top tier one. Eternal continent, the panel says, and I realize that may be the true name of the plains, with a deeper background I do not yet know. I cannot fight a super monster head on. First, find the colorful light. I climb a nearby tree and bring up Eagle Eye, the canyon unfolding in detail, my gaze settling on a rainbow treasure chest lying quietly in a mountain stream. The panel labels it a special grade rainbow chest, containing 3 rare treasures of which I may choose only one, with a warning that a wrong choice means a lifetime of regret. No wonder I never found a matching color in earlier chest sequences. Before the joy lands, I catch another presence, an almost human figure sitting absolutely still, an old ape watching me with an incredibly calm gaze, and I get the sense it has been staring from the beginning. Even at a kilometer, the eye contact crawls along my scalp. The panel marks it as an ancient ape king, relic species king level monster, currently severely injured and critically ill, rating fields blank. King level, higher than super. My back is cold sweat by the time I come back to myself. The giant ape gathers fruits and dumps them in front of the old ape, gesturing for it to eat. Then it senses the prying gaze, locks, and its eyes drowning in killing intent swing back to pin my hidden figure in the distant tree. Do all of you have spider sense? I finally understand why Eagle Eye is only C rank. Any high-level creature can sense it. The ape lets out an earth-shattering roar and charges. Pressure that would buckle any human's legs, but I drag in a deep breath and leap from the tree, rushing straight into the canyon. Its speed is nothing like the treant, and with a single leap it is flying like a 100-ton bomb. No dodging this. Etherealization, I think, and my body slides into the transparent void. The ape lands, hands clasped into a hammer that smashes the earth, but the tiny human figure has vanished. I am controlling my body with my mind now, flying for the chest. Even at flight speed, I cannot cross the canyon in one etherealization. What worries me most is the old ape, a king level not defined by size. 3, 2, 1, and my body reappears. I land sprinting, simultaneously spending 10 gold to refresh the cooldown, and the system chimes refresh successful. Next, refresh 20 gold. Still more than halfway from the chest, eyes glued to the old ape, ready to phase the instant it moves, but it only watches me calmly, ancient eyes barely rippling, partly relieved, partly confused. So close, and still no attack. Is it really that badly injured? No time to chew on it. The giant ape has locked onto me again and is closing harder. Its room-wide palm swats down and I phase out, the ground exploding into dust as I shoot toward the chest. With 3 seconds left, I reach it and grab with both hands, and the chest lifts and vanishes into thin air. I am only a dozen meters from a true king-level monster, the closest I have ever been, and I notice the natives here seem to know treasure chests exist, since a large rainbow glowing box vanishing in front of the ancient ape king draws no reaction. Cracking it open is not for now. Getting out fast is the only thing. The second etherealization ends with me less than 50 meters from the rampaging ape, and I refresh again. Next 40 gold. Its combat bloodline has learned the rhythm, and the instant I solidify it has hurled a massive rock so fast I burn another 40 coins to phase. This time I clear the canyon, but its intelligence is terrifying and it pursues me out in the exact direction I left, lantern-sized eyes scanning with rage. I weave into dense forest, opening distance, but the keen sense thing still pins me and the chase resumes. With a wrench at the cost, I spend 80 gold to refresh and break in a new direction. Good thing I had reserves. Played several times, the ape is wild with rage, smashing trees. I am calculating one more refresh to fully shake it. A heavy investment when the old ape still in the canyon slowly opens its mouth and lets out an almost inaudible syllable. Faint but fast, like a resonance frequency fed straight into the giant ape, which recovers a sliver of reason mid-fury, breaks off, snorts at the air, and turns back. My etherealization runs out at the same moment, and finding myself no longer pursued, I let out a heavy breath. Several ethereal flights stacked on the early sprint have drained me. Legs weak, head throbbing, I sit with an energy drink and functional fruits until I can move, then push back to retrieve the Barrett from where the treant died. By the time I reach it, I am lightheaded, only wanting the RV. Etherealization and Eagle Eye both eat through stamina hard, and if not for the lingium cabbage, I would have collapsed. Another cooling fruit and I push on slowly. On the way I get a pleasant surprise, a bronze chest in a tree hollow seething with spiders and venomous insects. My third one. The first gave armor core, the second gold plus shards, and I quietly beg this one for shards since I am 1 B level short. I clear the insects with my pistol and reach in. The chest glows out 35 gold, 100 parts, 10 units of super lumber, 7 C-level talent shards, 2 B-level talent shards. The shards appeared, and 7 C-level puts my second C-level talent right around the corner. Super lumber is a top-grade 3rd-level material, refined from ordinary wood, market small but worth at least 10 gold per piece. The trip is paid for itself. I pull into the RV around 4 in the afternoon, scramble in and collapse under the AC, drained. After 10 minutes, I sit up to deal with the rainbow chest glowing at my feet. I rub my hands and lift the lid. Light balloons and dazzling ribbons, and 3 treasures float inside, each in a colored band, the system telling me to choose one. The first is a dragon-slaying sword, legendary tier at full durability, with a passive dragon's grudge that loads each slash with soul-corroding damage from slain dragons, and an active sword chi domain that throws a 50-meter damage zone for 20 seconds on a 30-minute cooldown. The evaluation calls it a blade that once cut down countless dragons on a battlefield of gods, divinity gone but still able to scare mid-tier opponents, with the footnote that anything legendary or above cannot be modified. Impressive, but I cannot wield an ancient divine sword now. Blood of the Moon is already overpowered for me and shares the same niche, so taking the sword means abandoning the rifle build. I set it aside. The second is the Dragon Imprisoning Marsh quest book, an S-ranked dungeon with 20 invitation tickets at a recommended 1,000 gold each. The evaluation warning extremely high death risk and noting personal vehicles cannot enter. 20,000 gold in pure entry fees, and my heart pounds then deflates because no one at this stage can afford it. It would gather dust like the cursed parchment. The third is a mysterious egg, grade unknown, evaluation a single shrug asking if I want to try. The first 2 are dragon-themed, which means this might be a dragon egg, and my eyes light up at the thought of gambling on a dragon pet. I lift the egg out. The chest closes and dissolves into shattered light. I wonder how the thing hatches. Bed or microwave, and the microwave would probably make a very fragrant egg. I shake it gently and hear faint thumps inside, life already shaped. And as I move to set it aside, the egg shifts on its own. I plant it on the bed and squat beside it, praying for not a snake or a chicken. The shell cracks, a cute little head pokes out blinking, and it scrambles on 4 unsteady legs and totters toward me. A real dragon. Even newborn, it has white fur-like growths along head, neck, spine, and tail swaying as if underwater. 2 small round horns on its forehead announcing pure bloodline. The system labels it a young dragon of pure blood lineage, an ancient divine beast class, super monster tier growing. Status hungry, no master servant. The evaluation says almost all pureblood dragons disappeared after the ancient war, survivors rumored to have fled into a rift world with only a scattered few left across the eternal continent, and offers me bond or release. I almost laugh at release. Lift the dragon, silvery scales cool and icy, soft fur brush-like, a deep profound energy stirring against my palm, what the reviews called divinity. It nuzzles me and lets out a soft milky cry, nibbling my finger, and I tap established master-servant relationship. The bond locks. Young dragon registers as my pet, and the system reminds me pets can earn gold and use specific resources by killing enemies. I tell it that since it came from an egg, I will call it Dan Zai and rub its head, unconcerned that I just gave a true dragon offspring a household name. I buy pure milk and pour it into a small basin. Dan's eye staggers up the rim and gulps wetly, then slips face first into the milk, and I burst out laughing. I open chat and the private inbox is detonated, countless people begging me to put cola on sale. The heat killing survivors by heat stroke and spiking every heat prevention item. Magnates offer private premiums, but I refuse to open that loophole because I want a real brand. I post a public notice items go up soon, and the screen explodes. Voices shouting the boss is here, readying hand speed begging 1 can for their millet. Marveling the world has no scripts, scolding the unaffordable to grab and resell at 3 gold profit, lamenting everyone as a scalper now, praising Master G as a man of integrity, pledging dogship for 10 cans. I list all 100 from the 4 to 5 degree cold storage, and they drop to 0 in one breath, 300 gold landing. I list the 140 from 12 degree fresh keeping at 2 gold, and they vanish instantly, but only 168 gold lands when it should be 280. The system pings my cola severely deviates from market price. The day's total exceeded the 1,000 gold threshold, and triggered anti-resale sanctions, 80% docked from the portion over the limit, and from any further non-market sales until reset. I curse, then settle for 1,000 gold in a day being explosive enough, post sold out for today, and close chat. Dan Zai has climbed onto the sofa and is gnawing my clothes, the basin empty. 3 boxes gone and the panel still reads hungry. Pure milk runs half a gold a box, and this glutton just ate 1.5 gold. I buy a full case of milk and fresh pet meat, swap to a larger basin, dump 7 or 8 boxes with 5 packs of meat, stir it, plop Dan Zai in. It paddles joyfully. I return to the sofa for the talent fragments, 1 C grade and 1 B grade. The C grade synthesizes into elementary body technique, a passive granting elementary combat body technique on acquisition, comprehensively enhancing speed, sensory sensitivity, reaction, evasion, and stealth. The evaluation calls it one of the strongest close combat talents, already rivaling top human martial arts masters of Blue Star at elementary stage, scaling with physique. 2 hints follow, that a survivor holds at most 2 talents of the same level with surplus decomposable into shards at 5-1, and that every talent can undergo an overlimit awakening. Clarity falls over me like an innate technique, no strength added, only complete understanding and control of every part of my body, and only now do I realize how clumsy I have been on brute force alone. I tap the B grade and a prompt informs me I am among the top 5 in this area to fuse a B grade, triggering great synthesis success at 500%. A deep blue light blooms, the system pings great success, and it awards formless hidden lightning, B grade special, growable. Skill 1 Thunder Affinity, passive, granting affinity with all thunder elements, lightning drawn from sky as energy reserve, and easier sensing of thunder element resources. Skill 2 Formless Thunder, releasing the thunder energy in my body into 3 evolutions, Thunder Flash, Thunder Curtain, and Thunder Fire Robe, growth at 0% fed by resources like Thunder Spirit Stone. The evaluation calls Thunder Talents the most mysterious and powerful of all elementals, one of the most terrifying destructive forces, and to wield it is to wield death itself. The instant it locks, I jerk back as if electrified. Dazzling light bursts from my eyes. An invisible thunder field unfolds, bangs and collar drifting in it. I exhale, staring at my hands. Past 5 in the afternoon, dusk closing red, I step out and raise my hand at a tree stump. Arcs of lightning crawl off my body and converge into a dazzling ball of suppressed destructive energy, sparks clawing scorched trails across the ground. Thunder Flash. The ball snaps into a deep blue beam that lights the forest like noon, pierces the stump, slams into a boulder behind and shatters the rock, and the stump creaks and crashes sideways. My face pales, Cold sweat beads and I stagger back gasping because that one shot burned more stamina than I had to spare. Yet my eyes burn with fervor, because one thunder flash tore stump and boulder apart, and thunder curtain and thunderfire robe are still to come, and the talent is growable. I regret aloud the mind drop was fire spirit stone instead of thunder, and remind myself to push physique because everything but vehicles rests on it.